It's a new year, y'all. And for me, I've never been one to do resolutions. I do solutions. And for the past almost 2 years, I've been drinking AG1 every single day, thanks to my brother, Dr. Andrew Huberman, who turned me on to this incredible product. Every day, every morning, no exceptions. Just one scoop and a glass of water. They also make packs that you can travel with. That's been very, very helpful for me as a active touring person. Having these packets with me all around the world has been really, really helpful. So if you're a musician or somebody that is always on the go, the travel packs are incredible. AG1 delivers my daily dose of vitamins, minerals, and pre and probiotics. It's very powerful, it's very healthy, and it's really simple, man. Healthy aging shouldn't feel complicated. The thought of taking multiple supplements and all these types of vitamins and stuff and powders, it's truly exhausting for me. I've never been one to take a lot of multivitamins anyway throughout my whole life. I always prided myself in just eating vegetables and eating all the stuff I need naturally, not in a pill form. So this is incredible. It covers my nutrient gaps. It supports my mental and physical health. AG1 is hassle-free, 60 seconds every morning. It's the high-quality ingredients of pre and probiotics, adaptogens and antioxidants, and whole food sourced nutrients. I drink it every single day. Every batch of AG1s goes through rigorous testing processes, and their ingredients are sourced for absorption, potency, and nutrient density. If there's one product I can suggest you guys, is the AG1s, man. This has been a life changer for me. So go to ag1.com/OLLC and you can get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D3 and K2 and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. With AG1, I know I'm getting essential brain, gut, and immune health support, vitamins, probiotics, and nutrients for the day, and it's helped my mental and physical. So if there's one thing I can recommend to you guys, it's AG1s. It's my nutritional insurance. I pride myself as almost being 54 years old, not going to the doctor all the time. Knock on wood. I've been healthy my whole life and try to strive to be a healthy person, stay young, stay full of energy, and still do the things I love that I did as a kid. That's why I still skateboard, play music, exercise. So start the year off right. AG1, ag1.com/OLLC. Yo, Liquid Death, thank you so much for hydrating all my guests, taking care of me and my family and my friends. Love your water, love your brand, love what you stand for, love what you give back to the community. If you want to learn more about Liquid Death and how it started, listen to episode 115 with the co-founder, owner, and creator of Liquid Death, Mike Cesario. Just a punk rock skateboarding kid from Delaware with a dream. It's an incredible story, incredible journey. So if you go liquiddeath.com/Toby, you get free shipping on any items you order from liquiddeath.com. If you want to just get Liquid Death water, go to amazon.com. But for the merchandise and other cool items, exclusive items, go to liquiddeath.com/Toby and get free shipping. Thank you so much, Liquid Death. Death to plastic, murder your thirst, stay hydrated. You know H2O saves lives. All right.
Let's do this.
Welcome to the One Life One Chance podcast. I'm your host, Toby Morse. Today I have a very, very special guest, a longtime friend of probably over 30 years, Amanda MacKaye. Thank you for being back on the podcast.
Well, thank you, Toby.
Well, here's the deal. I have to tell you something while we're live on this podcast. So I've been doing this podcast since 2019, and only 3 times have I lost an episode. The first episode was Mike Gallo from Agnostic Front, who I redid in person. The second one is you. And the third one is Lizzie Armato, this pro skater who I haven't even told you yet that I lost her episode. What happens is in this GarageBand is sometimes when you save something that's a template and you don't rename it, it turns into something else and you end up recording. It's so hard to explain. I did this original podcast with you almost 2 freaking years ago, and I haven't gave up finding it, and I haven't gave up having you back on. So I wanted to tell you now that the reason why I had to do this is because we have to do the whole thing again. So this is your life. But
that was shit. That shit was gold, man. It was gold.
But I appreciate you being so down to do it, even trying to get you to come out here and all that. I know you're super, super busy with life, and but I'm stoked to have you back on. And this will be even better because just me and you on here. It's a phone call. I haven't done a phone call in like almost 3 years. But we live across the country from each other. So I appreciate your time.
Absolutely, my friend. Anything for you. I
appreciate it. So yeah, I have to tell that girl Lizzie today that I have to redo her episode. Only 3 times though. It's crazy.
It's not bad.
Yeah. So How many times have people said MacKaye instead of MacKaye?
Oh my God.
It's a
like,
lot.
Always.
It's Scottish. It's Scottish, right?
Thing, the weirdest thing happened last week. I was in a bank, and a bank I had never been in before. And I don't remember what I was doing, but in any case, I had to give the woman my ID. And she gave it back to me and said, "Thank you, Miss MacKaye." And I said,
"Wow,
you are like a rare gem. Nobody ever says it right."
I guess it's just the way it's spelled or something. I don't even know, but it's just, it's interesting.
Well, I say, sure, we could all say that the way it's spelled, but if you talk about I as in an affirmative, like I captain, it's AYE.
That is true.
Our last name is MAC, capital KAYE.
Yeah.
It's true that KAYE is also a woman's name or a person's name. K could also be Kai.
Yeah, maybe it's because people think Mick and MAC. Yeah, it's not MC. It's really interesting, but I know it's been a thing for years and years with your family and that name.
Yeah, I gave up trying.
It's pretty amazing. You guys are fifth generation Washingtonians.
This is true. My mother was very, very proud of this.
She should be. That's amazing.
There aren't many of us who can say that they're born and raised in Washington D.C.
Yeah, I feel like there's I feel like there's like that in every, like, even in L.A. and New York. There's not many like New York natives there anymore. There's not many people from L.A. and people from towns.
Yeah.
And your parents were single children, so you really have no cousins or uncles.
That's true. I personally adopted an aunt and uncle who then had children. So then I had cousins.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I adopted them when I was in high school. I mean, sorry, not in high school, in elementary school.
Is that for real?
That's for real.
Wow.
They weren't strangers or anything. It's not like that. They were my parents' friends from my parents went to high school with them.
Oh, that's cool.
My mom always felt like Zeke was like her long lost brother. So it just seemed kind of natural that I would call him my uncle. Yeah. And then he married somebody. So
that's awesome. And you have such a big family too, and you have such a tight family. I know you do the Sunday suppers. I know that very, very tight family. And obviously people know you, they know Ian, they know Alec, but your two sisters, Katie and Susanna.
Yep.
Did they have an impact on you as far as getting into music super young?
Not as much as they had an impact on my brothers.
Okay.
My sisters are 12 and 13 years older than me.
Oh, okay.
And like Katie and Susanna, they both left home when I was still pretty young to go off to college. So it was a little bit, different for Ian and Alec because they're older than I am too. So they had more of a connection, to my sisters because I'm 5 years younger than Alec. So the four of them were a unit until I came along.
Okay, gotcha. Oh, gotcha. That's interesting. That's a crazy difference in age.
Yeah, it's a really not too many families have like to have a gap of 13 years between children, even if there's children in between. You typically would only see that if there's a lot of children in between.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's unusual to have, only 5 kids and have that much of a age range.
Yeah. So for you, I know that you're like 9 years old when you went to your first show, right? I think it would have been the Slinkies in a garage.
Mm-hmm.
And you had a homemade Johnny Rotten pin on, which I think is cute. And that was like your first kind of exposure to live music, let alone punk in a garage, right?
Yeah. I don't. If I saw live music before that, I definitely cannot remember.
Yeah.
So.
But this is like so young to be like at a show, which I think is awesome. I'm sure kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no other kid there my age. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But it was, I mean, it was definitely like an impactful experience because, well, one, I like people I met there, I still know today,
Awesome.
even though they're older than me, but it like the whole vibe of being there really, at the time, obviously I was too young to articulate it, but as my um, pathway through punk continued, I could very easily see that being at that show at that time of my life, it really informed my desire and my, I guess, my will about, sort of the community that is punk rock.
Yeah.
Because it was a joyful experience where everybody was there for the same thing. There wasn't a sense of, soloness to anybody. Everybody was there for the thing and to support the thing and make the thing happen. And that's sort of like my baseline for all the shit I do, even outside of music.
Yeah.
It's just that
In real life.
same idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. The collaboration,
Yeah. So and also I read too, or I saw some about like just you growing up too in your neighborhood too, and being young and being into this type of music. You had like a friend named Josh who like kind of turns you on to Joan Jett.
Oh, not kinda. He definitely did.
Okay.
He gave me his tape. This was in middle school.
So
he gave
cool.
me his cassette of I Love Rock and Roll.
Nice.
And I had not heard Joan Jett before, and I was so taken with it that my mother was really into tape recording everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And back in the days when you had, well, some people had these big old tape decks that you leave on a table.
Yes.
I took 2 of them and put the speaker to the microphone, and I dubbed his tape. That's right, I stole music. I pirated music when I was in middle school.
That's the only way. That's how you had to do it back then.
Absolutely. I still have the tape.
Oh, no way.
He also gave me, yeah, he also gave me a tape of Eddie Murphy, and I did the same thing.
Amazing.
So Eddie Murphy got none of my royalties.
Were your parents playing music in the house? Were they like a musical family, like your mom and dad?
Oh yeah. No, my mom played piano and just loved music, and my dad loved music, and so there's just constantly music happening, and definitely like in the car, tooling around, always music.
Yeah, and so obviously that's middle school. When you start growing up and probably going to more shows, I know at Fort Reno too, like in '84 is like one of the first shows you went to there. But like in school, like how were you like in school, like as a kid, like what kind of kid were you?
I mean, I think I was a nice kid. Probably some people would argue that, and that's cool.
Were you shy?
Maybe I was an asshole. No, I was never shy. That was one of the things that has been a benefit and also a curse, because a lot of times I would be fucking around doing social things instead of, being in class.
Yeah. Skipping school?
But yeah, not till high school, but yeah. Definitely skipped a lot of school.
Were you a good student? Like, did you like school and like focus on it?
I liked school until 7th grade, and then I really did not like school anymore. And I tried all kinds of ways to not go to school anymore, but it was pretty much frowned upon. And
I'm sure at 7th grade you have to go to school. I know.
Well, I mean, I tried. I schemed the whole thing in 8th grade, because I went to a school where you graduate in 8th grade and you go on to high school.
Yes.
And I schemed this whole way to not go to high school, or at least not to 9th grade, and I'd figure out the rest of it later on. It worked for like 2 weeks, but then my parents found out, and that didn't go over very well. I thought it was pretty crafty. So then I had to go to high school.
So why 7th grade were you over it?
Because man, people were jerks.
Mm-hmm.
And it just stopped being enjoyable. It really did. It's just, I think because, I mean, I don't know what was going on in DCPS, and fuck, I don't even know what year that was.
Yeah.
What are you, like 13 in 7th grade?
Something like that.
So it'd be
That
like
sounds right.
83, 84, 80. No, it's got to be like 12.
Okay.
It's, yeah. So like I was like 12, which is 82. I have no idea what was going on in DCPS, but when I got to this, it's a different middle school where I only did 7th and 8th. It was just terrible. I just really did not enjoy it. The teachers were like, it was all about discipline and being punitive. And I just wasn't into it. And a lot of the kids were jerks. And I guess maybe I was like what some people might call like a late bloomer, like, in terms of when I was in 7th grade, like, I was still kind of into like, yo, let's do it on the playground. Let's get these swings going, you know, let's hit the jungle gym or whatever.
Yeah.
I was into being active and like playing.
It's awesome.
Or like, because it's like that team thing. It's like the collaboration, the community thing.
Yep.
And, the cool kids or whatever they were not into that. They were into like standing in the corner and like judging people.
Yeah. Were there anybody your age into the same type of music as you at that point, or no?
No.
Damn.
Not at all.
Wow.
The closest were these kids, Peter and Fred, and they were into metal music.
Yeah.
That was about as close as it came.
Were your parents strict about grades and stuff, or no?
No. I mean, by the time I was around, they'd raised 4 kids.
Yeah.
So there was things were a little bit different when I was around.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents, I think at least this is how I've always believed it to be. My parents were like, do the best that you can, don't fuck it up on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
To do the best that you can. If it doesn't work out, well, reassess. We'll do something else, because
totally.
I think they both kind of understood that there's a lot you can learn from failure. The failure is not to be, shouldn't make you feel bad and shouldn't make you feel like you're unable or not worthy. It means that particular go at it didn't work out. What can you change and make it happen?
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I like that.
But nice. I did, like, some years ago, and after some move, I opened up a box and found some old report cards from high school, which in my mind, I had been a terrible student in high school. In a lot of ways, I really was, but I thought that I had really bad grades and like, all this shit. And then I found this report card, and it was like all B's.
Wow, that's great. Like, B's are amazing.
I know. It's like, what am I thinking about?
So good. What was your scheme that you pulled off to try not to go into 8th grade or 9th grade?
So you have to, I assume it's the same everywhere, but like in DC, when you leave middle school and you're going to high school, you have to register for that school.
Okay.
And even though it's like your home school or whatever, it's in your neighborhood kind of shit. So I told my middle school that my parents were sending me to private school. And I told my parents that the middle school just automatically registers you.
Wow.
And I thought it was brilliant.
It is pretty brilliant.
I did not think about what was going to happen like in 3 weeks or whatever, when it was, when school was going to start. I didn't even think about like, probably my parents are going to ask me, like, when does school start?
Of course. Wow.
Yeah. I had to start like 2 weeks late. And the first week was just sitting in the main office because there were no classes for me.
Oh man. And how was high school for you?
Oh, it was terrible. I mean, my high school experience was, when I was a freshman, was, I think it was one class when I was just registering for classes. I walked in and the teachers I was doing roll, and they got to my name and said, "Are you related to Alexander?" And I said, "Yeah, it's my brother." And he said, "Get out of my class."
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, was your brother wild in school or no?
I guess so.
Wow.
And then it happened again. I went into another class, and she said, "Are you related to Joseph and Alexander?" I had no idea who Joseph was, and I was like, yeah." And she said, "I'm not going to put up with the same hijinks. You better, if you can't get it together, just get out of my class."
Wow.
It turned out that Joseph was Chris Bald. I didn't know that Chris's first name is really Joseph.
That's freaking.
So,
did you ever tell your brother about that? And say, "Are you?"
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And because it happened, I stayed at that school into 11th grade, and it happened a few more times where there were teachers that they knew that were not happy about it. But then I found one who really liked my brothers. So
yeah.
it, that kind of worked out because it helped me scheme up a way to not go to class.
So you're fully going to shows at that point, obviously, because you start Sammich Records while you're in high school. So you're fully submerged in all of it at that point.
Yeah, not like I would say, I still was because I was young. I turned 14
so you were late bloomer,
in August
right.
of '84.
Yeah.
So I was still kind of young.
That's true.
And so I wasn't going to shows by myself.
Yeah.
I was going to shows if Ian or Alec were going to go to a show, I could go. That was kind of the expectation.
Yeah.
But then, in the summer of '85, I had met, because we did the Soulside, the Lunch Meat,
Mission yes.
Impossible split.
Yep.
So I started meeting a lot of people. And so in the summer of '85, it started being different, where I was just kind of randomly going to shows and just checking things out.
But you're 15 years old at that point, right? With a record label.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's so crazy. I mean, think about that now. I can't imagine. My son's 21. He hasn't even doing that at 15. It's crazy, but it just happened. You did it with your friends. You just did it and it happened.
Well, yeah, but you also have to keep in mind, I mean, my brother had a record label.
I know.
Too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for
so
sure.
That's
true.
It wasn't like I just dreamed it up out of the clear blue sky and figured out how to do it.
No.
I got a lot of help.
Yeah. But still, to be doing something like that, so creative and so, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive.
I went, when I left the public high school, I went to a private high school, and it was much smaller, and I did not really fit in because there weren't, I don't know, everyone was really, really different from me.
Yeah.
But, and the school were both attracted to the fact that I was that industrious, that I would have this record label.
Yeah.
But also they would, vacillate and be like, well, but you need to spend more time on your schoolwork.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, I can't. I got this record label and I got to go to shows. So it's just, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
There were two other kids there who were into punk. And that was really funny because it was like somehow we became like some weird gang. And so, I mean, not like we didn't decide it. The school started to view us as some kind of gang.
Yeah.
And so whenever one of us would do something perceived as wild, like Byron got a mohawk.
Shocking.
Then they would call us all in and they'd be like, okay, who gave Byron the mohawk?
Yeah.
And I was like, not me. I don't even know where Byron lives. Like, what?
I'm a kid. That's crazy.
Yeah, it was really funny. But they were good kids, and it was just fun to be in that school and just the three punk kids.
Yeah, that's freaking awesome. And I just saw this doc the other day, basically, and it was a Q&A after, and these guys on the panel, old school punks and skins, were talking about like, just hanging out with each other back then in the 80s. People thought you were a gang because you didn't look like anybody else, and like you had to be trouble. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like the Warriors type. Well, they were actually a gang, but just the way people looked and stuff.
Warriors!
Like, I know. So Fort Reno was like one of the first shows you was like in '84 or something, right?
Was the first time I went to Fort Reno.
Yeah,
It started
14,
in
yeah.
1968,
It's
but the first time I went there
crazy.
was in '84.
Do you remember what show that was or no?
No,
Yeah.
no. The only show I remember from the early days of being at Fort Reno, and I don't even know what the band was called, but it was like some. What I understand now, because I didn't know any of their music, but what I understand now is that they were a metal cover band,
Okay.
and the guitar player, I think he had like a very early wireless set or something, and he jumped off the stage and was like walking around in the grass playing his solos. And then one of the songs they did that just like I felt like I was a Puritan when I heard it. So the singer was like, uh, "There's 3 things you got to do when your man gets home. Like you got to cook him a hot meal, you got to do something, and then you got to fuck like a beast." And I was just, like, my eyes popped out like a cartoon, and I was like, "What just happened?
Oh
Oh
my
my
God,
god!"
dude.
But now I understand that that's somebody else's song.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I was like, I had no idea. And I was like, "Oh my god, who is this band? This is bananas! Like,
Oh my
we have to
God,
get out of
dude.
here." But also, there was
We're
like,
not safe. It's
there was,
crazy.
I know, but also there was like 15 people there in this huge park. It was
Wow. That is fucking amazing. Fucking scarred for
oh,
life. Um,
totally.
did you you graduated from high school, right?
I did.
And what
I
was
did.
you had the record label, obviously, but was that did you what did you want to do? Is that your goal? Like, I'm just gonna keep doing this label. You working a job,
Um.
obviously.
Well, yeah. I mean, I started working when I was 14. I
Yeah.
got a job. I worked at Yesterday and Today Records, and then I
Yep.
worked at Smash for a really long
Woo!
time.
Smash Records the best. Yes.
I know, totally. And so when I was in high school, so I graduated from high school. I was supposed to be class of '88, but when I switched to the private school, I had to start in the second half of their 10th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I graduated in '89, and so I was already at that point running around with Swizz,
Oh yeah.
and we went on tour together before I graduated. So
Crazy.
I don't think I really thought about what I'm gonna do,
You were
because
just
I
doing
just
it. You were
was,
just living at that
yeah,
point. Yeah,
exactly. I just felt
yeah.
like I'm doing it.
Yep.
And so it didn't really, I just thought this was life. Like, you live in your
Mm-hmm.
parents' attic, you work at a record store, you go on tour and sell merch and lug gear and drive all night.
Totally.
And that's how you do life.
That's all life's gonna be forever.
I wish it had been, but no,
Yeah.
I don't regret anything, but
Yeah.
um,
How long did you live at home for? Like, how old were you when you moved out?
I was 22 when I moved out.
Great. Awesome. Max is 21. I
Yeah.
want him to stay another year. Yes.
And I only moved out because my dad said, "Well, I guess you could start paying rent." And I
Mm.
was like, well, I guess I'll move out then, because if I'm going to pay rent, why would I live here?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I probably should have just stayed home and paid rent to my parents, but it seemed like the right thing to do.
Yeah. I'm sure rent was way cheap back then.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I moved into a group house in Silver Spring, and I worked at that point in my life. I worked part-time at Smash and part-time at Discord. Neither one of those places is anywhere near Silver Spring, and I didn't even have a car.
Oh shit.
So
Wow.
yeah, so that was kind of crazy.
How are you getting around?
Well, eventually Desiderata bought a van.
Nice.
So then I drove the van as my commuter car, which was
Awesome.
totally ridiculous.
Damn.
Mostly I took Metro, but
Oh yeah, the Metro. That's right.
yeah.
Yeah, living on your
The
own.
Metro that doesn't go to Georgetown. So
Oh.
I used to walk from wherever I'd get off and to go to Smash. I could take the Metro all the way to Discord, but
Was Smash pretty popular and busy back then too in the early days?
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, when it was on the other, well, now it's not even in Georgetown anymore, but its first location was on the canal side of Wisconsin, of M Street.
M Street, yep.
Yeah, and it had, so one side of it was Sammich Records, and the other side was DC Skates.
DC Skates,
And
that's right.
yeah, and so in that place, it was also tiny, but it was always jamming. There was constantly people just in there. And then they moved across the street to a bigger location, and same. It just was always just people would come and hang out, like especially on the weekends.
Yeah.
Kids would come from like, Stafford and St. Mary's County and like all these places. They drive to spend the day.
Yep, go shopping.
And hang out at Smash.
Yeah.
Or
Commander Salamander. Oh
right.
My God,
you'd make you'd walk back and forth and like get some bagels in between or whatever.
Oh yeah, the bagel spot there. Yeah.
Yep.
Was the Exorcist stairs on that same street all the way down, or was that some other spot?
Yeah, no, it's on M Street right at Key Bridge.
That's right. That was a cool spot too.
Yeah, so if you were coming in from like, I don't know how you guys coming from St. Mary's.
I know.
Definitely people coming from Stafford were going to come on 66, and you drive right. You come onto the Key Bridge and you could see the Exorcist stairs right there.
It's crazy. I want people to know that those are them still to this day. They probably do, right? I'm sure people know.
I think so. I still
there's like no plaque there or nothing.
I don't think so. I've never checked.
Yeah, me either.
But
I was just thinking that.
It's a popular. I mean, people talk about it for sure, and I do see people taking pictures on occasion.
Yeah.
Of some stairs, which is kind of a boring photo, but whatever.
How old are you? So you're still doing the label? Then you start booking. I know you book shows like over like 14 years at Fort Reno. Does that start during Sammich, or is that just later on you start?
No,
and you also work in public schools as well. Yeah.
I didn't start booking at Fort Reno until 05.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're working in schools before that?
No.
Yeah.
Not even. What was I doing before all that happened?
How long did you have a label for? How long did that last?
I think I wound it up maybe around like 92 or something like that. I don't really remember because it wasn't like it was a decision, but it was not based on anything other than I don't think I can keep doing this.
Yeah.
It was getting really hard because at that point, like I had to work full time because I was not in school. Then I had to work full time to pay for whatever.
Yeah.
And the label was created, the original intention of it was like to definitely break even so that, that the release would not lose money.
Yeah.
But that you weren't like the money you did make was going into the next thing.
Yeah.
So, and it was pretty popular. Like the label was pretty popular.
Yeah, he had a lot of releases.
It was a lot to we put out whatever, I think 9 records. And it got to be a lot, and it was hard to find people to help me because I was living in my parents' house.
Yeah. And how many
So,
but how many people work there at like its height, like the most?
I can only think of two people.
Wow.
So Eli Janney was one of the founding members, and he would help with mail order and sort of talk about the next things that were going to happen.
Yep.
And then Brad Siegel, who is still out there doing stuff. He's a photographer in I want to say Minneapolis.
I know that name for sure. I know that name.
Yeah, but he's still involved in punk stuff. He would come by and help with mail order, and but it just meant like people had to hang out in my bedroom.
Yeah.
So it was just it wasn't really sustainable, and I didn't. I had obviously. I talked with Discord a lot about the future, and because they could help when there was a lot of demand for a record and I didn't have the cash reserves to do another repress or something, they could help.
Yeah, it's awesome.
But it just became like, it was hard for me to see how this could keep going.
Yep.
And it also started to have I wouldn't say it stopped being fun or enjoyable, but it just started to take on more of a
like it was a job.
Yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like everything got really formalized in the 90s. Like the 90s, things just were different for a while, where people were really into being, quote, professional musicians.
Yeah.
Not to say that you can't actually be a working musician. That's not my point.
Yep.
But it's this idea of professionalism, that I'm like, if you're doing the thing, you're a professional. It doesn't matter whether or not you wear a tie.
It's true.
Yeah,
or have a salmon. Yeah,
I didn't like the feel of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just decided that it would be better to just let it go. And I don't think, there's some people who are like, oh man, I always wished I had those records, but overall I think the timing was right.
Yep.
It wasn't like there was like a lot of people who were bummed about not being able to get another record from Sammich.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was was it like mail order too? Obviously mail order back then. It wasn't like you had stuff in Smash, you had stuff in record stores. Around.
But Swizz and Shudder to Think they'd gone on to work with other labels,
mm-hmm.
and so
You're right.
It was just they were the sort of the main bands at that
Soul
time.
Side too.
Yeah, and Soul Side,
they
started, when they recorded after Less Deeps, they started working onto Discord. So it
was Trigger was on there.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a half.
Yeah, the half.
Yeah. I can't remember.
You're right. Okay.
I should remember because right now what I'm doing for work is I'm scanning old files at Discord, and I should know all of the numbers by now.
Are you doing some of the organizing there?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's cool.
Anyway, that's a tangent. So I was doing the label for a while, and then.
But no college, right?
No, I never went to college. I started going to college in like 2000 or 2001, somewhere in there.
Really?
Yeah, just classes.
That's cool.
I didn't like enroll in a whole school thing. I wanted to go to college kind of, but every time I talked to the college counselor at my high school, he'd say, what kind of school do you want to go to? And I'd say the one where I don't live in a dorm.
Yeah.
And he goes, that's never going to happen. Like you'll have to live in a dorm. That's the way college is. I was like, well, no, I guess we're not going to do this then, because I can't live with that. Like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
I don't get into all I really knew of college at that point was, I think I visited one person at their college and was like, whoa, this is weird. You guys just party all the time.
Have like some random stranger as your roommate and like share your life with somebody. Yeah. It's just, yeah.
Which that part I don't think I would have minded, but I don't like at that time, it just felt like everybody in college just like got fucked up all the time.
I think that's still happening now.
Yeah. And so
Nothing's
I just
changed.
was not, like where I wasn't into that.
Yeah.
And so
that's not why you're going. You're going for an education. It's crazy.
Right. So, and it's true. Like by the time I graduated and my friends did go off to college, I just like, well, I guess like the day after graduation, I was like, well, I guess I could work full time at Smash now.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And they would come home for break and they'd be like, oh, you're so lucky you don't have to go to college. And I was like, oh, I don't think it's really lucky, because, I didn't really know then how much of that decision or that taking that left turn instead of going the other direction was going to impact my whole life.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you flash forward to now, it's pretty fucking hard to get any kind of job without a college degree.
Mm-hmm.
And it used to be, high school. If you got a high school degree, you could get a good job.
Yeah.
But now a college degree is not even necessarily helpful. You got to have a master's.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fucked up, but
it is crazy. And then the younger generation who just making careers off of YouTube or TikTok or different things like that, and just different ways people have careers that have nothing to do with anything that we even studied in school.
Yeah.
You know, what was your major in college when you went back? What was your major?
Well, I didn't get that far because I was just taking classes that I thought were interesting.
Yeah.
That's really, that was all I wanted from college. I didn't realize that you had to like decide to be something in college.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the beauty of college was you get to study a whole bunch of other shit.
Yeah.
Like you get to decide what to study.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was the other part of it was like, I was like, I'm 18. How do I know what I want to do in 5 years or whatever? Like,
yeah.
I want to go to shows and like book bands or I want to go on tour. Like that's all I'm thinking about. And they were sort of, the responses were kind of like, well, you could get a business degree. And I'm like, no, I could not.
Yeah.
Because what is business?
Yeah.
I mean, what is that?
I mean,
and I just didn't, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah. It's like,
I love to learn. I absolutely love to learn.
I feel like we're still learning. We're still figuring out what we're doing with our lives, to be honest, even in our 50s. It's like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? Everything's, and for us, especially who came from where we came from into the music we're into and the scene and the community and still playing music and still being an adulting and all that and balancing it all and just still trying to I don't know.
I'm not sure for you, it's the same for me. Like your lyrics are coming from your observations of the world around you, things you read, things you hear.
Yep.
Like, you are developing constantly. You're learning. You're learning every day.
Yeah.
And it informs us on the thing that we're choosing to put our energy into.
Mm-hmm.
And most I think at least most career paths, in order to be successful in any of them, you have to continue to study the thing that you're doing.
Yeah.
So, you got to listen to a lot of music.
100%.
If you're going to be in the music world, because you need to hear, you got to keep that thing happening in your brain where
100%.
you are intrigued by something and you get a melody, so you always have to be learning.
Yeah, I love finding new music still and listening to new bands that people send me and checking out new bands. Even if I am 54 and I'm checking out younger bands, but they're part of the world that we came up in. So I love checking out and supporting it because it's just important to me. Do you feel? Yeah. Do you do that? Do you go to shows still too, or check out new bands? Or are you?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder to go to shows where I don't know anybody on the bill. Just because it's just time. Like time is hard.
Yeah.
But I do love. That's one of the things I do love about playing in a band again is that we can play with bands we don't know.
Yeah.
And I tried pretty hard to like just play with. I don't care who's playing. Let's just play it.
Yeah.
Like
totally.
Let's meet some new people.
Yeah. You can always meet new people. It doesn't matter how old we are or what we're doing. Yeah. Were you working in schools and booking shows at Fort Reno at the same time?
Yeah. So I started at the school in 2008, I think. And so it worked out great since this concert series is in the summer.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of work that goes on not in the summer. So it was daunting, but not really because the job I had was great.
Yeah, what was your job title at school? Like what school? Middle school, high school? Was it?
It was high school, and it was just called administrative assistant. But I just did so many different things. It was a lot of times in public school for staff, you might have a position title, but really, with the way that public school is with so many students, they need as many adults in the building as they can possibly get.
Yeah.
And so you might not actually do much of what you're supposedly supposed to be doing because you are helping to be an adult in the building with 2,000 kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it was, but it was never that daunting to be doing both things at the same time.
Yeah.
Being in a band and doing that and holding a job was that sometimes is a little hard.
Yeah, like Desiderata, what year did that start?
Oh God, when
and
did
it wasn't
start?
your first band because you had the Headaches before that, but you know.
Yeah. Well, the Headaches never made it out of either my or my friend Oliver's living room.
I love it. It's so cool though.
So, yeah, Oliver and I should have a reunion one of these days.
That'd be
he
sick.
actually plays an instrument now. So
wow, that'd be awesome.
I'm trying to think. Desiderata probably started in
91.
In 90. Well, I'm not sure if we started in 91. We definitely recorded in 91.
You drop a demo in a cassette in 91, I think.
Yeah.
And a 7-inch too.
And I only remember that we recorded Inner Ear in 91.
Because,
Yep. I turned 21 while we were recording, and my bandmates who were younger than me thought it would be hilarious to give me a bottle of prune juice for my birthday because I was so old.
That's funny.
Yeah.
21's old, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but we were going to go on tour-ish kind of thing, and I think it was me, but I'm just going to take the blame. I don't really remember what happened, but so the Desiderata, the thing was that Gabe and John and Sid, like they all graduated from high school, I guess in 90, and their parents said, you all can defer for a year going to college to do the band. So we had this like hard stop.
Okay.
And when I joined the band, conceptually I understood, but emotionally I hadn't really digested it until we started doing stuff and like, playing a lot of shows and having a great time. Then I understood like, oh, this is just going to end.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't like that feeling.
Yeah.
So we ended up breaking up before the year was over. So
did you play a lot of shows?
I think for us we did.
Yeah.
I don't remember how many shows we played.
What's the furthest state? What's the furthest state you guys got out to play?
We played in New York.
Yeah.
We played at CB's.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Who was that with? Do you remember?
Yeah. I fucking know. It's
that's
crazy.
Cool.
I don't know. I don't even know how that happened. I have to say I don't regret much. One of the things I do regret at this point in my life is I didn't take better notes back then. So I was just, everything was happening. And I was like, I'll never forget this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're definitely going to forget it.
Were you excited to play CB's? Were you nervous? Were you like?
I think I was probably a little bit nervous.
Yeah.
I had been to CB's before that. Like I'd gone to see a show there.
Yeah.
Went to go see 7 Seconds actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was visiting, my sister lived in New York, and I said, 7 Seconds is playing at CBGB. Can we go? I was visiting her in her apartment. And so we went to CB's. I was 15 and a half or something. I didn't know. I'd never experienced a club that wouldn't let me in.
Oh, that's right.
In DC, we didn't have that. Everything was all ages.
Yeah.
And so I couldn't get in. And so I did know I was supposed to present ID. And so I showed them my learner's permit. And they're like, well, you're not old enough to come in. And I was like, what? And so I don't know how I did it. I think I must have called Ian and asked him to call CB's and talk to Kevin. I don't know what I did, but somehow I got in touch with Kevin and was like, he let me in the show.
Amazing. I forgot it wasn't all ages at CB's. That's so weird.
Yeah.
That's so strange.
Yeah. I guess they must have never changed that either.
Yeah, especially all the Sunday matinees, all the stuff they had there too. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I forgot what we were talking about.
Just talk about playing the CBs and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for a young band, we played a lot of shows, because we probably played like, 10, 15, maybe 20 shows. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think for a young band, we probably played a lot. We did a lot with our time.
And there's kind of a long gap between the routineers and
yes.
Yeah. And so what are you doing during that time? You just working, right? Putting shows on and just
that's
living?
A great question. I have no idea.
Probably doing the school stuff still.
No, because that's all. I didn't start.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't start school. Working at a school, I didn't start until 2008.
Yeah, so this is even before that. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
I just was living, I guess.
Just living,
going to shows and just living. I honestly don't know what I was doing.
Wow. Where are you working? Yeah.
Crazy. And then, I know that on one, I guess it was the tour. I went on a tour with Junction and Fine Day right after Desiderata broke up. And I met people on that tour. I met Ryan Nelson and his brother Mark. Mark was in Fine Day and Ryan was on tour with them. And that's how I ended up playing music with Ryan.
Gotcha.
So that's what started Jury Rig. And that Jury Rig was like for 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And then Routiners came out of that.
Okay.
Routiners was basically Jury Rig, but Ryan moved to guitar and we got another drummer.
Gotcha.
And that lasted, I don't know, my husband and I were actually talking about Routiners because he said he saw us, and I was like, no way, I didn't even know you then.
That's cool.
But so apparently we played much longer than I realized.
Did you? Yeah. Did you feel not pressure, but not seeking your brother's approval of what you sound like, but being the youngest and having bands and having their bands in the past and during that time too? Like, did you run songs or play them songs or demos, or did you care, or did you just do your own thing?
I wouldn't say I did my own thing. Like, I wasn't running like next to them without them knowing what was going on.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't, it wasn't like I said, I'm stuck on this one lyric. Can you help me?
Yeah.
But they'd come to, just like I would go to their shows, they'd come to my shows.
Yeah, for sure. Were you nervous to play in front of them at all? No, because they're your brothers?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, they're nice guys.
Yeah. But just like being the sister and being like, the youngest and all that, it's cool.
No,
Sure,
I mean, with them, I don't have any problem being their sister. With other people, sometimes it's problematic. But
gotcha.
Yeah, because people are weird. I mean, definitely like in the 80s when things were a little more volatile in the DC area.
Yes.
You could be hated just because you're related.
You rhyme that.
And
hated.
I didn't even need to.
I know. You could be hated because you're related. That's really interesting because of the last name, but just anything. Wow, interesting.
Yeah, and I mean that happens in all kinds
guilty
of
by
scenarios
association,
all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
You're guilty by association. Exactly.
Yeah.
But it also, and it also can work the other way where you're praised.
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah,
or you're honored in some way.
Yeah.
To because you're related to somebody, therefore you
Respect.
are sort of lifted up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
interesting.
It's a really curious situation to be in. It's been funny over the past decades.
Or people finding out that that's your brother's. Yeah, that stuff too. Yeah.
Well, there's that part, but then also funny things will happen where like Ian will go on tour somewhere, and like someone will come up to him and start talking to him and say, "Oh man, tell your sister Amanda I said hello." And he'll just be like, he'll come back like, so and so said hello, like somebody he knew that he didn't know I knew them. just
Yeah, yeah,
funny
yeah.
things would come up like that, where he started to notice that the longer I was sort of
Yeah.
moving along, that more and more people at his shows were coming up to him talking about me
Mm-hmm.
and passing greetings, and he thought it was pretty
Yeah.
funny because you know
That,
it's
yeah.
that's not always the way it is.
Yeah. And also like, and obviously me and you, our friendship, I met you first in the 80s, you know what I'm saying, that way back
Hmm.
then. And it's funny because most recently when our friend Trav tried to go there into Discord and take a photo,
Yeah.
and then I reached out to you and he said to me, why didn't you reach out to me? Wait, like, so you had Amanda first? So it's like, it's a homie. But yeah, I just stuff like that. But like, do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
how, I don't even know how we met. Did we meet at shows up there through Outcrowd or something?
Had to be, because
Yeah,
I know I was talking to Outcrowd a lot, and we sold their record through
that's
Sammich,
right.
um, and I would come down to St. Mary's to see
Yes.
shows and hang
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Um, so yeah, I mean, in Images too, because definitely
Images, Rusty's old
Outcrowd and
band.
Images
Yeah.
would come. They'd all come to hang out at Smash.
Mm-hmm. That was the spot. That was the headquarters.
Yeah, that's true. And well, it's definitely the meetup. You know,
Yeah, it's probably
you
that
tell
for
everybody
sure.
like, yo, see you at Smash, 2:00.
No phones, no texting, nothing.
Exactly. You just knew to show up.
I love that too, like about shows. I see at the show next Friday or next Saturday, and you wouldn't speak to that person the whole entire week, but they'd be at that
Right.
show.
Yeah.
It's so amazing how life was like, and I don't know, it would never be like that again. But that was so cool, and like,
I wish.
and like,
Yeah, I was trying to clear out my call list on my phone the other day, and I just stopped because I was like, what the fuck? Like, I get so many goddamn phone calls. No wonder I feel so busy. Like, why do I get so many phone calls? And I'm like, oh, right, because I get so many text messages that I can't reply fast enough, so then people call me.
mm,
But I wish, and never, I mean, some of it's nice, but some of it's like, you couldn't have waited
I like our phone
till we saw
calls.
each other next.
I like
Oh,
when
I love
I
talking to
call
you.
you on our runs or my walks, and we have these calls and
Yeah,
stuff like that. But I still
yeah.
I love that.
I've
Also,
been with you for miles.
miles, girl. Um, I did love going to Smash or any place and getting a flyer, and then that's how you found out about the show, and
Yeah,
saving my flyers and collecting them and all that crazy shit. But also just like that's how you got information. It's just like now you just post a flyer and everybody knows about the show, which is cool if
yeah,
you're in a band because it helps promote it and stuff. It's like a faster way to get people to know what's going on with you. But yeah,
yeah.
it's just like going through the records and checking out the thank you list. See what shirts the person's wearing a shirt. You check out that band because he's wearing this shirt on the back cover of that record. Just
Right.
all that cool exploring stuff, it was so awesome. And we're so
Yeah,
lucky to have lived during that time. It's pretty magical. I don't know, because we'll
yeah.
never
And
get it
you think
again.
about like, and now everybody, everything is trust but verify. So like, they decide they're going to go to a show, so they just start searching everything about that band. And
Yeah,
they're like, actually, this band sounds lame. I'm not going to go to the show.
yeah. It's
They
true.
got a bad Yelp review.
Oh my god. Do you have major influences in your life as far as like maybe music or I don't know, artists or
Yeah,
just poets or authors, or do you read a lot?
yeah. I do read a lot. Not
Yeah.
as much as I would like right now. Just why poetry I like to do, because you can read a few poems and put the book down
Mm.
and think about it for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think I do have a lot of influences. A lot of them are probably peculiar. Like I'm obsessed with Neil Young.
Okay.
Um,
That's cool.
he definitely makes me want to play guitar and sing, because I'm always trying to figure out how people do that.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I could do. I
I
don't
love
think
it.
I could do that. That's hard. Yeah.
I love the guitar,
Yeah.
which is another reason I also love Joan Jett. It's just
Mm.
that, for her also, it's like it's performance.
Yeah.
I saw her one time, and she said, I forgot what venue it was, but wherever it was, she said, "Is the air conditioning on?" And they were like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Turn that shit off. If I'm not sweating, I'm not playing."
Man, that's
And
hard.
I was like, Yes.
That's cool.
That is so true. You have to be feeling it. Like you like it has to be a total body experience.
100%.
And so, yeah, I mean, so I do, but also I'm totally influenced by my brothers
Mm-hmm.
because when I was a kid, they were helping me find my way. So
Yeah.
like Peter and Fred, the metalheads in middle school, they were really into, was it Quiet Riot, who did
Nice.
covers of Slade songs. So I would play Quiet Riot at home, and my brothers would be like, no, you got to hear the real people. And so they bought me a Slade record.
That's cool.
Or, same thing. It's like when fucking Billy Idol put out Dancing with Myself or whatever it was. They were like, no, you got to listen to Gen X.
Nice.
You got to go back.
I love that.
And hear the real thing.
The roots of it, yeah.
And it's really made all the difference in the world. And I think even today, when I go to shows, whether it is, whatever, I went to go see Cheap Trick,
Nice.
whether it's like a big concert or it's a show that only holds 30 people.
Yeah.
I'm looking, like I'm paying attention to whatever they're doing. I'm looking around. I'm observing everything because I'm being influenced by it all.
Yeah.
And it's important.
Yeah.
Even the newspaper influences me,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. Still learning, still like finding new things, still being inspired. Yeah. Young's, he's pretty punk too. Lyrically, just everything he represents as well.
Yeah.
May not sound like it, but he's
a
badass.
And his vocal melodies are really interesting. I watched Ian gave me a DVD set of a live show in Canada somewhere, and it was, it was just him. He wasn't playing with the band. It was him. He was really young, and he was playing piano and guitar, not at the same time, but he would switch instruments, and it was just, I'd never seen anything like it.
Yeah.
It was just fascinating to watch somebody with that level of performance or something.
Yeah. That's awesome. What about hip hop? You listen to hip hop at all anymore or no?
Yeah.
Like old stuff?
I'm still stuck on the old stuff. We were on a road trip to see the eclipse.
That's right. You saw that. It's awesome.
I was in charge of the Spotify, and I don't know how to Spotify, so I just type in things I know.
Just hearing you say Spotify right now didn't sound right, to be honest.
It's
too new. It's too new in the world.
I don't know how to Spotify.
You had your cassette player. Yeah.
Yeah. So I pulled up shit. I can't think of the name of the band right now.
Public Enemy.
Well, we did listen to Public Enemy.
Boogie Down Productions, KRS-One.
No, I didn't get to that part because we got to our destination too soon. Goddamn, Low End Theories.
Tribe Called Quest. Woo-hoo!
Yes.
The best. So
and
good.
then sadly, the further we got into New York State, the worse the cell reception became. So
yeah, because you went upstate
that
too.
means you can't Spotify anymore. If we had a CD player.
See? Do you still have? You still own CDs?
Fuck yeah! I'm looking at like 500 of them right now. But you know what doesn't
so
get
awesome.
played in our house?
What?
CDs. We listen to cassettes and vinyl.
Dude, you have a cassette player in your house too? That's so cool.
We have 3.
Do you have a crazy
Don't
cassette?
you?
No. Do you have a cassette collection?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how I still have the Joan Jett and Eddie Murphy tapes.
So insane. You probably got crazy demos. You probably have everything, huh?
I probably do, but I haven't even gotten into them because I only play the ones that I can see.
Do you have a crazy vinyl collection too?
Yeah, it's pretty big. People come over, like Alan will tell people, yeah, we got a lot of records, and then people come over and like, shit, you got a lot of records. It's like for them, a lot of records is like 100.
Dude, there's so many people have crazy collections of records. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's so good.
But
also,
I keep trying to pare down, but how do you?
Yeah, you just hold on to it.
How do you decide?
Yeah. You probably have doubles and quadruples of different records. My wife has like 1,000 copies of the same Naked Reagan record, different pressings, all that stuff. Like she has like such a big collection.
Yeah,
Of
I have
vinyl.
that, but there's one B-52s record that I love so much and I give it to people. But I also always think, whenever I see it somewhere, I'm like, oh, I always meant to get this record. Because I buy it over and over again. Because it's such a good record.
Which one is it?
I think it's just called B-52s.
Okay.
That's the one that's got Dances Mess Around on it, which is like the greatest song.
Is there a B-52s documentary?
There's a documentary?
I don't know if there's a B-52s documentary. There should be one. I don't know.
There should be.
Yeah,
I think they just did their goodbye tour.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I want to get into veganism with you too. Like,
oh yeah,
how that started for you, and how old were you, and what was the influence for that? Obviously, we don't see animals being killed, but yeah.
Yeah, well, I think pretty young, I became aware of. I've always been an animal lover.
Yeah.
Like, I've always felt deep connection, and so when I was pretty young, I became aware of something. I couldn't articulate it, but I definitely did not want to eat meat.
Yeah.
And then when I don't know how old I was, probably in the late 70s, whenever sort of vegetarianism kind of became hip.
Oh yeah.
My dad, he thought it was, because I also didn't really like vegetables. He thought it would be clever and bet me that I couldn't stop, I don't remember, said you couldn't stop eating meat for a week, something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, no problem. He thought it was going to make me have to eat vegetables. I just ate fruit and pasta, which is really
that's
what
amazing.
I mostly eat today.
You still love veggies today?
Yeah. Well, now I love vegetables now.
Yeah.
But I love fruit. But and it's just, I think so. When I got into high school, it was kind of in vogue in punks at that time.
Oh yeah,
vegetarian.
Yep.
And so I just kind of kept on, just sort of like, well, I'll just be a vegetarian.
That's cool.
And it really didn't. I have to say, it didn't. Even when people first started going vegan, I just didn't really think about veganism, because I didn't think about vegetarianism as a righteous action.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, yeah, of course I don't kill animals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Duh.
Yep.
I also really felt like, if people were going to eat meat, then they should have to kill it themselves. And if you can't kill it, then you shouldn't eat it.
I agree with that.
It was also the way I felt about like smoking. You should like have to go look at a diseased lung. If you're down with that, by all means.
Yeah. Yeah.
But so then
it's a great point.
I'd say, once like my brother became vegan, and it just sort of, my father then for Sunday dinners, he would always cook vegan.
Awesome.
So that Ian could eat.
Good pops.
And I started thinking about like, oh yeah, like there's not enough ways for people to eat food if they want to really not ingest any animal products.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say probably really wasn't even so I stopped eating them too. I started eating no animal products at all.
Were you the first vegetarian in the house?
No, my dad was pretty close to vegetarian for a long time.
That's cool.
But I didn't think about vegan, and it really wasn't until my 20s or something where I really got, I just got totally focused on
hardcore about it. Yeah.
Yeah, like we just, it's wrong to birth animals only to be destroyed.
Yep.
And it's, it's the same way I feel about people. Like we can't, grow humans only to destroy them. And
it's true.
And it's hard to really to walk the line, because I'm not an activist at all.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty fucking serious about it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like we are being activists, even if you're just not eating it. You're making a statement. We're not contributing to factory farming. We're not contributing to what everybody's eating every single day. you know, and
Yeah.
we're have a guilt-free conscience. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I would say I'm not guilt-free yet because I think I can always do more.
I mean, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah, no, but
Yeah.
I think I could do more because I do, like when I worked at the public school, so I was an adult, well, kind of, um,
Yeah.
but I was around people who thought they were grown-ups, and I would not even comment on what people were eating, but my not eating animals of any, like not having milk, not having dairy, not
Yep.
having meat, it made people uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And they would just talk to me about it, about how I couldn't, like, it's impossible. And I just feel like, well, it's not impossible because I'm still alive.
Yeah,
I eat food every fucking day.
cows eat
Like,
grass. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not impossible. What are you talking about? But they wanted to argue about it. And, and I was not interested in arguing because the argument was really about they felt self-conscious, which is a totally different thing.
Yeah, they start
that
feeling
has nothing
guilty.
to
They
do-
look at themselves. 100%. People get so
Right.
threatened by it for
Right.
no reason.
And if you're feeling guilty, you should explore that.
100%. But you leading by example. They was asking you because they're like curious about why you weren't eating and how you surviving. You weren't saying, "Oh, you should be this, you should do this." You were just living, and
Right.
they saw that, and they were like,
right.
"Yeah, that's the best."
But the same thing happens still with because I'm very conscious about plastic.
Okay.
And I'm really into not making trash.
Yeah.
And it really, the number of people who have said, like, that's not sustainable. You can't, like, there's no way. Trash is a part of life.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say, like, no, you can make better choices.
100%.
You could buy things that are not in packaging. You could not make trash. And you could also argue for companies to stop making us throw away their trash.
Yeah. 100%,
but it's, and that's the kind of thing. But I don't typically start the conversation, but I'm happy to get into it with people.
Yeah, no, for sure. But yeah, you're not trying to start any problems or judge anybody. You're just living how you're living, and it's crazy how that affects people around you. They're intrigued by it. They're also maybe threatened by it or offended by it, and don't even know why. I don't know, and to start talking to them about it.
And I used to be more like, whatever. I could go with my friends to a restaurant and they could get, some fucking steak or chicken or whatever. That was fine. It didn't bother me or whatever. I used to be able to do that.
I used to do it too. I can't do it either now.
I can't. The last time was I was invited, my husband and I were invited to go to dinner, and they wanted to go to this fucking crab shack. And I was like, I could do it. Yeah, so it'll be all right. And we hadn't even gotten any food yet. I mean, they were already like, I was like, I won't be able to eat, but whatever. I can just be there and be company.
Yeah.
And we hadn't even gotten anything yet, but the people around me, the level of violence that was happening so that people could eat food.
So true.
I mean, I started crying at the table.
Damn.
So I excused myself because nobody saw me. I excused myself and I got my shit together, and I came back and I said to my husband, I am really sorry. I know this is going to be embarrassing for you, but I cannot stay here. I'm going to go outside. You continue. You stay here. I'm going to tell them I'm not well, and just I'll be outside until it's time to go home.
Yeah.
Because I just was like, I can't be in here. This is awful. And I have to say, it's probably the first time I had noticed. My mother ate crabs all the time. It's the first time I ever saw it as an act of violence. And when you looked at it,
is that the one where they crack it with a hammer thing and they eat regular?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. They're
God.
Just smashing everything. And you look at the people's faces and they're like gleeful, but it also looks fucking evil as shit.
It does,
and
dude.
They got their faces are all like buttered up, and it's fucking weird. And it's
gluttonous.
It
You're
freaked
so
me
right.
out.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
It's like, and then maybe like 5 or 6 years later, we were at the beach, and my son wanted to go to this seafood restaurant. And I was like, oh, yeah, we could do that. Like, and so we walked in and I instantly was like, I can't be in here. I'm going to throw up. It was just the smell, you know? And I was like, I can't do it anymore. It's not, my being won't allow me to be in this environment.
And no, you can't do it. You don't have to do it if you don't want to do it.
Right.
People should understand, like, yeah, it's like you don't have to.
Right. And I think that has been probably one of the hardest parts of growing up as I do, is that I am constantly, it's not just me, I'm sure you've had to do it too. I'm constantly having to accommodate for other people.
100%.
So,
my whole freaking life, 100%.
You know, they choose a restaurant and I'll look at them like, I just get some fries. It's cool.
Yeah, fries and some lettuce or salad. Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, well, she can get a salad. Like, I could.
And it's like why should I have to? Yeah.
Or we could just go to an Italian restaurant and get some fucking pasta.
Yep.
You know, why do we have to go to this fucking burger joint or something?
Yeah, 100%.
And that has been, I think that's the harder part, is like for people to understand that it's not, to be a vegan there's two sides of the coin. You know, there is a part where you are challenging the norms and you are fighting for a better life for animals. There's that. But the part that I find so interesting is when you're thinking about just the diet side of it, which is a weird word, but you know, the nutrition side of it, we'll say. Yeah. When you're just thinking about that, people who are not vegan are so tripped up by, well, what do you eat? What do you eat? Like, fucking anything but animals.
Yeah, exactly. Literally, where do you get your protein? Anything. All that shit. Yeah.
You know, and that's the part that just trips me up. Like, why is it so hard for people to understand? Mm-hmm. Except for then I have to contend with the idea that they don't see the animal. And that's the part that I can't accept when I'm with people. Is that when you can't see the animal, when you're not willing to understand that chicken that's on your plate was walking around and living its life and thinking its thoughts, and you've even seen chickens, but you can't make the connection, that's there's something wrong with you.
100%. Other people are like, I'm a dog lover, I rescue dogs, and they're eating hamburgers at night after they rescue a dog, right? Just all that stuff, not putting the two and two together, the connection that they're all living things. And it's frustrating. It gets really frustrating, but you want to, you can't shake people or force people to live like you live, but it is just, I don't know, just people be more open about, I don't know, especially in 2024, there's options everywhere, and people talking about the environment and the connections to where we eat and what we drive and how we live, to why there's an earthquake in New York a couple weeks ago, you know, why there's snow in California, just all that stuff. It's just like, but people, it's almost, it's convenience for people. It's also like people are set in their ways. My culture, it's how I grew up, it's tradition, it's what we, you know, milk does the body good, all that stuff we saw growing up, all that bullshit. You know what I mean?
I stopped drinking milk as a kid because milk was weird.
It's nasty. Milk's so freaking I can't, there's no judgment to the listeners, but like, just thinking about drinking a cup of milk right now is not even because, not because I know it's an animal. It's just fucking nasty in the first place. I don't give a fuck. It's chocolate milk or strawberry milk. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's the same. Yeah. It's the same thing you're talking about too. Also, like, just like not drinking or not partying. Like, people get offended by that. Why aren't you doing that? Are you sober? Did you have a problem before that? No, I just never tried it. Even my fucking barber, if I'll see him again in New York, even in the last year, you still don't drink? I'm like, yeah, I'm 53. Why would I start? Yeah. Just people are just so like shocked and taken back by it because they start looking at themselves. Oh, fuck, do I ever drink your problem? Or maybe I should not try it. Like, they're like, oh, I respect that. You know, that's cool. He never did that. Blah, blah, blah. And the same time, like, that's fucking crazy. How do you fucking live? How do you have fun? You know, it's like, because it's just tradition. It's just what people think. You're supposed to like drink your beer and eat your hamburger and fucking watch a football game. I don't know. It's crazy, man. Yeah. Society, it's just, so I feel like all that stuff too for you, like how you navigated through your life, you know, how you grew up with your family, your morals, your beliefs, your ethics, all that. I'm sure we carry that into our adult lives. You know, it's not like we're like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like even parents and that's everything, how we live, homeowners, just how we live. It's something that's a spirit in us, I guess, right? Like I feel like I'm so fucking young. I turned 54 this week. I feel like I'm 24. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm in the best shape of my life. I still exercise. I still eat well, and I take care of myself, which I think all people should do. If you want to, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to live to fucking 100. I'm trying to. My thing is that as long as I'm here and I'm living, I want to be the healthiest I can be, so I can still do the things I enjoy and I still love. Like I still ride a skateboard. I still go to ramps. I still fucking do all these things that make me happy. And I don't know, I think that's just something we have, how we grew up and the music we get into. It's just, I don't know. It's like, and I think it's cliche and corny as it says, like, young till I die and I don't want to grow up and all those songs. It's like, I'm still seeing
But
these
I
dudes.
think
What?
it's true.
I still see
mean,
these dudes. I'm about to go see 7 Seconds on Friday. Dudes in his 60s still doing it. Keith Morris still doing it. Fucking Milo's still doing it. The Misfits, all these bands. It's like, it's not for everybody to continue and play music for 45 years. Some people do other things. They have tragedy in their life. They move on. They, in their sense, I guess, grow up or they do these other things. But fuck, it's really inspiring to see that. I think hardcore and punk music and the stuff we grew up in, something about that spirit and something that, I don't know, it keeps us young, man. Maybe other genres have that and metal and rock and roll or whatever, but I just feel like, I don't know, there's something, I don't know, I don't want to say childlike or immature or young. I don't know, there's something about, I don't know, how the things we love and the things we believe in and the things that still are important to us in our 50s. I don't know.
Right. Well, I mean, it's like to the difference of being like concrete or whatever the opposite of concrete is. But like, if you think about, people who follow the sort of societal path and like, and it's been documented in countless punk songs about, graduate from college, get married to somebody, have 2 kids, get a house, like, like all this shit, like,
suburban home,
and then like whatever, and you turn 60 and you retire and then you slow down because that's what society says. It's time to slow down.
True.
And fuck a bunch of that noise.
Exactly.
Sure, it doesn't matter if you want to get married at 16, fine, whatever. That's not the part. It's not that about getting married.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the idea that there's points on a map that you have to hit, and you have to do them in this order, and you have to do them exactly as they appear, and that's the part that I think that's bullshit.
And you have to drink beer, and you have to eat meat, and you have to be tough, and you have to be manly, and you have to like sports, and all this fucking shit that the music we grew up in told me I don't have to do any of that fucking shit, and that just stayed in my fucking being my whole entire life. My fucking son gets 3 X's tattooed on his leg for his 21st birthday. Didn't even, like, when he told me that, I was going to fucking cry. That's his choice. Just all that, how it, like, it becomes your life. It becomes part of something that we grew up with, that we instill in it. We try to be the best parents we can be, the best adults we can be, but we're still big kids. We're still fucking, I don't know. I still like it. I don't know. It's just something special because it's not normal. It's not what society's doing. Granted, we pay our taxes, we pay our mortgages, we drive cars, we're adults, we do adulting things, but I'm still
living for yourself.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no fucking rules.
You're not living for somebody else's life.
Yes.
I mean, you're living for your family, but
yes,
like
100%.
It's the idea of your path is not about matching your neighbor.
Yes.
Or worse,
truly
besting your neighbor, is about being friends with your neighbor.
Yes.
And you're both living your own lives, and then you share your lives with each other.
100%.
You don't try to be in lockstep with anything.
Yeah.
And that I think is that's part of the whole difference. If we call it a difference, I think anybody could do it. But,
same.
Lines get drawn whether we like it or not.
Yes.
And, but I'd be happy for anybody. I'd be happy for anybody who's 54 right now and decide, like, you know what? Punk rock has always made sense to me. I just thought I couldn't do it. But fuck it, I'm doing it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah. I love that too. Yeah, for sure. It's crazy. We live in a pink. You haven't been in my house since last time, but my house is pink. We're like
All right.
we're like the weird vegan tattooed pink house family on the corner. All of our neighbors are awesome. Like
Yeah.
it's really really cool. And but I love that. I love that we didn't. I don't know. First of all,
Yeah.
I'm very
So
lucky. Yeah.
our house is the weird house because we got rid of our lawn and like we planted native plants and trees in it because they fucking cut down all the trees in our neighborhood and it's hot as shit here.
Wow, that's
So,
so cool.
and so we're the only ones that
It's
don't have a
amazing.
lawn.
Do you do a lot of planting?
And
You have a green thumb?
not me. My
Not me
husband does
either.
it all.
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
And I'm super thankful for all of it because he does not like tomatoes and he plants so many tomatoes plants for me.
Oh,
and
that's
he makes
sweet.
them all grow.
He's a keeper.
And totally.
Dude, tomatoes are the best. You have so much vitamin C. They're so good.
I know. He's got like 4 different kinds of tomatoes going this year. Maybe
I need to
even
talk
more.
to him because I want to start doing plants in my backyard. I want to start doing vegetables in my yard for sure. We have enough space
You
for
got to
it.
do it, man. Have you ever seen or heard about 1 square foot movement?
No, you send it to me.
I will. The idea is that like everybody has room to grow vegetables. Everybody has room to grow your own food, basically, and all you need is 1 square foot.
Okay, I respect that.
So it's the idea is that like even if you live in New York City, you could grow your own food.
I see people doing the rooftops and stuff. It's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, you could do it on your balcony. Like if I'm assuming your building doesn't give you grief about putting shit on your balcony, but it is.
Yeah.
It's so liberating.
Mm-hmm.
I think for even the farm movement or the vegetable garden movement to start reshaping for people's realities.
Yeah.
Which is like we don't have like our backyard is filled with a forest.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't grow vegetables back there.
Yeah.
Our front yard is full sun all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where we plant like all of our vegetables and fruit,
That's amazing.
And so what if animals eat it? That's fine. They're hungry too.
Yeah.
Even so what if somebody walking down the street is like, damn, that, fucking tomato looks good. They grab it. Cool. Enjoy.
That's cool. Yeah, I want to do that. I know there's certain times a year you should plant. There's different times. Like, I definitely talk to your man about it for sure because I would definitely want to. I'm sure it's very therapeutic planting stuff and being out there and doing all that stuff.
Oh yeah. But he doesn't like. Well, one, he doesn't like tomatoes. He grows those because he likes to look at them. But he doesn't like spicy peppers. But he loves to see them grow.
Okay.
So he plants them, and then we're like, well, who the fuck's gonna take them? Like we don't eat this shit.
This is a random question. What's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on therapy?
I'm very pro therapy.
Me too.
I think everybody should take some time for themselves and think about their thoughts and talk with somebody about them.
Yeah. So you've done it. You've done it before. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's not. There's nothing brave or adult about just toughing things out.
Yes.
We as humans we've grown over all of these years to understand it's good to talk. And if we feel like we don't have someone to talk to, it's now become a thing where you can find someone that they've been trained to talk to you.
Yep.
And help you see a different way of defining what you're feeling or progressing through something. And
I love that.
There's no shame in it. And a lot of times it's actually very progressive because it could help you tap into that energy you thought you lost.
Yeah. 100%. And they peel back the layers and stuff, all that stuff, like
right.
Because your mind and whatever, blocks out tragedy stuff. It blocks out like all kinds of stuff. It's interesting.
It also blocks out joy. And that's the part is that when you get focused on, this shit happened to me, it also affects
trauma.
your ability to experience joy.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that, you got to get over something. It's not like that, because sometimes there's shit you can't get over. You have to learn
Yeah.
to live with it, though,
Yeah. I feel like social media, and for young kids growing up with that, we didn't have that growing up. We were outside. We talked earlier about that, being outside and just living and being
Yeah.
creative and all that. I feel like a lot of kids are gonna probably are a lot of kids that are in therapy all because of the pressures and all that stuff for what they see on their phones all day long. Just like
Yeah.
back in the day with the magazines where the girls were super skinny on the covers, and girls would read those and feel like they had to look a certain way because of that, and just all that's on your phone 24/7. Kids are getting
Yeah.
bullied, not just in person at school. They're getting bullied on their phones while they're at home in their bedrooms, like 24/7. There's a lot of heavy shit online too, as well, with what's going on in
Yeah.
the world. And that's the scary thing about having a kid in this world, for sure, is making sure
Yeah.
that the reality and the fantasy of what's real and what isn't, and all those kind of
Yeah.
pressures.
And it's also, it's hard. It's hard for kids to navigate that space of, trying to fit in with their peer group,
Yes.
but also start to recognize that they are different from their peer group, or they don't, their beliefs, they don't agree with some of their peer group. And that's a really hard space to be in.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of good information for kids about how to navigate that space.
Yeah.
And it always happens, like, I shouldn't say always, it tends to happen at an age where they're also trying to sort of break away from their family.
Yep.
And try to be more independent.
The adults. Yeah.
So they don't really know they don't know how to come to their parents necessarily and say, like, man, my friend is like, it's like totally being a jerk to one of our other friends. And like, they don't know how to talk about this stuff.
Yep.
And they feel like they have to figure it out.
Yeah.
But they don't have this. They don't have the experience or the maturity yet to figure it out. They don't have the tools.
Yeah, the tools. Yeah.
And it's, I mean, even, my son is 20. What year is this? 24. He's about to turn 24, and he's just now kind of coming into some of this stuff about talking to his parents about his feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's just like, because he's really starting to recognize, as he's becoming more of an adult, that there's things that he can't keep to himself, and I'm always like, yeah, and you shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you keep it to yourself, it starts to feel weird, and it might feel bad, and then you just start feeling bad. And you should just say it to somebody.
Even it's like to like a friend or a family member or a counselor or a teacher or just somebody, like to get out your system and get, like, for sure. That's why I really pride our family on open communication since Max was very young, talk about everything, He will call us, I'm going to my friend's house, or he'll text us from school. I want to skip the last period. All my friends are skipping last period. Like, nobody else is texting their parents saying that. Just being honest, and then you don't have to lie to your parents. We know where you are at all times. We know you're safe. I know you're a good kid. I know, so I feel like when kids don't have that trust or the communication, they end up lying about things or being secretive and stuff and keeping things away from their parents, and that's not good. So the communication is really key, and be able to feel comfortable with telling your parents everything and anything. There's no judgment, it's like, but it's hard. It's easier said than done, of course. And some kids have different things going on in their minds, and they're dealing with different things every day at school or just online, just all that stuff. It's crazy to be a kid. I can imagine being a young kid now, just with everything, the apps, all that stuff. It's way different than how we were raised and grew up. We were out on the streets. We were going to shows young. You were going to shows. Your parents knew who you were. You were safe at a punk show. Just all that stuff. Like,
and we also had the benefit of, like, when people didn't like us, we didn't know.
That's true.
People fucking hated us. We just didn't know it.
That's true.
And now it's like it gets delivered to your pocket.
Oh yeah. Send you a message or write some shit or yeah.
They write some shit on somebody else's whatever about, like, what a lame band that person has. Like,
yep.
Oh, sorry you didn't like the show. Like, whatever.
But that's yeah.
but it's also like, that's the kind of shit that people won't say to your face.
And they never will. And it's even worse now with the internet,
Right.
because all the shit on the internet, nobody ever says. I see people talking about the most gnarliest New York dudes that we both know. Crazy shit. I'm like, dude, these people have no idea what they're talking about. If they saw this dude in a room, they'd be so shook. They would never say nothing to this person. But
Right.
so all that shit you take with a grain of salt. It's a computer. It's not real life. I know some people, it's a place they go. It's a place where they talk to people. It's a community. People help each other on there. I'm sure there's so many positives to it. But all the negative shit, it's like, who gives a fuck? Nobody's ever going to say nothing to your face. And when people are talking about you, you're on their mind for some reason, and that's on them, whether they like you or not. And it's like, who gives a shit? But for younger people who aren't been through stuff we've been through, or our age, or just whatever, like adults or whatever, it's hard for them because, everything is so important. What people think about you is so important. Fitting in is so important. And for us, it's like we didn't fit in. We found like our tribe. We found the people that, into some of the things we're into, and we related through the music and the lyrics and whatever, the culture and the community. But some kids don't have that. There is really, some people don't have that community, the culture, or don't have a place to go and hang and not feel like a weirdo. And so, like, I feel for those. I feel for those kids. It's all they have is social media. That's how they connect. That's how they show what they do and what they look like. Or I don't know. It's fucking crazy world, man. It's fucking really crazy, man. And I know that what's the word I want to use? The best of evil, less of great evil. What's the word called about social media? They call it like, it's the less of evil, best. I don't know. It's good for so many good things. Yeah, something. But it's good for so many things. But there's a negative cesspool of so much dark shit that kids are being exposed to. Yeah,
that's I certainly, like, when my son started playing online video games, I just said, I don't know anything about it, but other than what I've heard, and it freaks me out. So just be careful, be mindful.
Yeah.
And if someone is saying, hey, why don't you come to my house? How about you ask us before you say yes?
Yeah, for sure.
Whatever, And I just, and I said, no, I don't know if any of the things I hear are true.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
So just keep that in your pocket. Like, remember that things are not always what they appear.
100%. Oh, I was going to say necessary evil.
Mm-hmm.
And also, we both have, me and you both have had experience where people say things about us online, and it fucking affected us, and maybe got PTSD from it, maybe hurt our feelings. But at the end of the day, it had no effect on our families and our lives and how we live every day, what we're up to, what we're doing. It's an opinion. It's a story. It's what people think. Mm-hmm. It's perception. People think that everything you are online is everything you are, and it's a small percentage of anything part of your life. And people think they really know a person through their music or whatever and all that stuff, but it's just like, we're fucking human beings. We're not perfect, but the online shit, I've learned in the past almost decade now, just to, even through my wife, helped me with all that shit. Don't respond to people. Don't listen to shit. You know who you are. Yeah. People, friends who you are. Your family knows who you are. It doesn't matter. People have opinions. People also just want to have an opinion, be heard. They want a reaction. They want a response.
Yes.
And I've responded to people before, like, oh my God, you responded to me. I fucking love you, man. I didn't mean it. I just want to get your attention. Or people say something stupid, and I'll write something back like, oh my God, I'm just joking and shit like that. It's just some people, they're going through it. So I don't know what their lives are. Some people are depressed. Some people are lonely. Some people are dealing with a lot of fucking shit. Some people are lashing out because of their own lives, their own insecurities, and they want to put on somebody else.
Or some people might just be immature.
Yeah, totally.
They don't know another way.
Yeah, for sure. And,
sometimes it's not thought out and malicious. It's not premeditated.
Totally.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
It's just, that's how they interact with people.
And that's all they know too. Yeah, it's not something.
Right. Yeah, and that, it might just be that surely there have been times in your life pre all of this technology when somebody's joke in a room just landed totally wrong.
100%.
And you're like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Why would you say that?
Yep.
And they're totally like, whoa, I just was fucking around. Like, they didn't, but it's just.
And now people are filming themselves tell those same dumb jokes.
Yeah. And now it's different.
Do you know what I mean? Like, now everybody's watching everything you do.
Everybody's watching, and it's it's, sadly, it's almost not erasable.
Yeah. I mean, once
You
on the
know?
internet's forever, but it's like, no, it's such a crazy, crazy, world, but also how to navigate it, especially for young kids and just everybody in general, just because everybody's sensitive. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't care how rich and famous you are. I don't care what you do, how happy you are, how your life is. Everybody's sensitive. Everybody's fucking have hearts. Everybody's,
Yeah.
especially when it's, he's so passionate about what you are, what you represent, what you do, what you've done, what you continue to do, and everything you do, and you put your heart and your blood and sweat and everything, and then somebody just writes something totally stupid, and that one comment out of 1,000 amazing comments fucks your day up.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like that person
Yes.
wins, and it's like, who the fuck is that person? Are they a bot? They're on a private account? Like, are they real? It's like all that shit. I have no time for it. Time is super precious. I'm 54 years old. Life is fucking going by. It's like taking your time to talk to somebody, which I've done in the past, and answer my DMs all the time. If people send me gigantic DMs about things they're going through, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a doctor, but I do my best to respond to everybody. Not saying it's my duty, not saying I should even do that, but when some people reach out, I definitely try to respond to people. But
yeah,
I'm also busy too, and
well,
also
yes.
trying to live. Yeah.
I mean, you definitely have to draw the line, but if you love animals, you love animals.
Exactly.
So.
You're really not on social media either, right? I know. Yeah. Your
little bit.
Your band's on their Bedmaker DC.
Yeah.
Your band's on
and
there.
Then,
are you checking Facebook and all that shit? You doing that shit or not?
Well, the band doesn't, but I do.
Yeah.
And it's, whatever, people want to be friends, that's cool. I don't know. Some of them I know, some I don't know.
But you're not really active on there, are you? A lot, or?
I was more before I got busy, and now it's like just once a week. I have some time to poke around on there.
Do you feel like it was addicting being on social media or being online like that, or no?
No, that never felt.
Yeah.
I mean, I always wanted to get done faster.
Yeah, I can see that with you. You're a very off the grid person.
I would much rather talk to people.
No, I love that. You're old school. That we talk on the phone.
I mean, even like whatever virtual calls. It's like,
yeah.
I don't know. It helps, like, because I have people who are far away from me.
I know.
And I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
And so it helps. It can't cost a shit ton to go to California.
No, I know. I was like, I'm gonna fly you out there. I'll put you up on the best airlines.
But I'm just saying,
I'll put you on Spirit. I'm just kidding. Yeah.
All over the place.
No, I know.
And it costs a lot to go, and plus time.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Time is very precious. Time is everything. I've never really cared about time until I've started getting to where I'm at in my life. Like, just like, fuck it, everything's forever, and this and this, and then like just living, which I still do to this day. I live every day. But the time thing, yeah, it's really interesting, especially when you do have kids and you watch them get older, then you see you're getting older, and you see, not to get more, but you see your ending and you don't see there. It's just like, and I want to be here, whatever happens to me after this, I'm watching over my son, whatever I'm at in the afterlife. That's a whole other podcast, but I want to be there watching my son, or just be here forever and see everything that happens in his life. But it's not reality. And it's just like, some of that shit's really hard to digest sometimes. But I've never really thought about the future. Let's plan the future. I've never really been like that. I always bothered my wife. I'm like, this is what I'm doing now. Just like you said, this is what I'm doing now. This is what I'm working on now. This is what I have coming up. It's nothing like planning 10 years, 20 years in ahead, all that. I never really lived like that. And I feel like that probably puts a lot more stress on your life too, to be really just trying to fucking organize every little thing. Not just wing it, but also just live it. It must,
but it's like not even the organizing part, but like when shit starts to go off the plan.
Yes.
That's fucking stressful.
Totally.
And if you've made this like intricate plan for the rest of your life, and it's like not working out, and you just keep fighting for it to work. I mean, it's like you start swimming upstream, like you're getting exhausted by trying to keep to the plan.
Yeah.
And then you're missing it. You're like missing all the stuff that's happening because you're so focused on making the plan work.
Yeah.
And like I said, however long we've been talking, like failure is just information.
Mm-hmm.
So your plan didn't work.
Yeah.
Adjust and try, adjust your thinking, try a new path.
Yeah.
See if you can, you can't make it happen. I mean, failure is not defeat.
Mm-hmm.
It may feel defeating, but it's not defeat. It just is, it's a way to get information.
Yeah. I love that. Also, like we said earlier too, about just the bands were like, go to college, get married, have kids, white picket fence, live happy ever after, and that's just life. And that's what like the bands and songs we listen to are saying like, no, fuck, that's not everything. That's not all life is. That's not all your choices are going to be. And having all these different expectations, or I have to achieve this and do that and all that stuff. It's just like you said, because then when there's failure, people handle it way different. And like, yeah, it's interesting, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any regrets in your life?
Yeah, I don't know what they are. I just know I have feelings of regret, like things I should have done or things I shouldn't have done. And it's not. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it because it's not productive.
Yeah, I understand that.
I mean, like things I shouldn't have done, I figured it out long ago, and I don't do them anymore.
Yeah,
but,
totally.
But still, you just think, God, why did I fucking do that ever?
Yeah, learn from your mistakes.
But there are things I wished I had done, like just to see how my life would have changed. I forgot long, long ago when I was working at Discord, and they worked with Southern Records. John Loder and I were discussing maybe that I might move to England and work at Southern.
Oh wow!
And I just like, oh yeah, well I'm in a band now, so I can't really do that. Like I didn't even entertain the idea really.
Damn.
And I think about like, what if I had done that?
Yeah.
What would my life be like?
Mm-hmm. The what ifs.
And it's not a useful thing to do. And mostly I notice when it comes up is when I'm feeling frustrated or stuck or, not like things aren't going right.
Yeah.
I start thinking about like, damn, I should have just fucking moved to England.
Yeah. It would have been perfect. Yeah.
But I'm like overlooking all the fucking beautiful shit that's happened.
Mm-hmm.
It's, paths did not go the way I thought they would.
Yeah.
But I didn't know where they're going to go anyway. But I'm just always like, whoa, I didn't realize we're going to be over here. This is crazy.
Yeah.
But, but it's also, I do like, my husband and I are very, very different. Like I have never lived away from my family.
Wow.
Like I don't live with them, but
yeah,
we all live very close to each other. I've traveled. I've just never lived anywhere outside of the DC area.
Something really fucking beautiful about that, though. Like how tight you all are. So that says a lot too.
Maybe I don't know, because my husband's the opposite. He's lived all over the place.
Yeah, but he grew up differently. He had a different family, though. It's different. It's like
he did
different bond. Different, yeah.
But a lot of my. I mean, the bond, I shouldn't say I don't think about my bond to my family. It's real.
Yeah.
But I just say like a lot of, certainly when I was, 18, 19, 20, in that era, it was about music.
Yep. I
was like, I could never leave here. Like the music that's my life.
Yeah. It was such an insane community too then as well.
And I don't, but maybe I could have, but now that I'll be 54 this summer. Like, can I live anywhere else? I really don't know.
Yeah. Are you happy there? You love it there, right?
Kind of. I mean, whatever.
Honest answer. I love it.
Now, so like, I live in Arlington.
Yeah.
And it's a perfectly fine place, but it's also so fucking expensive. A lot of shitty people. But I think there's a lot of shitty people everywhere.
Totally. 100%.
But there's a lot of great shit here too.
Yeah.
I typically don't have time to take part in any of it, but
yeah,
there's I think there's pros and cons everywhere, and that's the hardest part is in making a decision is like, but what if I'm wrong?
Yeah.
But
what if
it doesn't work out, you'll find out, and then it's like, well, okay, well that didn't really work the way I thought it would, so maybe try this.
Yeah, you happy with what you're doing with your life now? I know you like working for jobs. I know you're doing something with a nonprofit, and
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I don't have a formal job anymore. And
Yeah.
once I quit the school,
How long has that been?
It's been 3 years.
Okay.
And
a lot of crazy shit's happened in 3 years too, though, in the world too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what I mostly learned about that, especially about living here, is that if you're a woman in your 50s, it's pretty fucking hard to get a job.
My wife can relate to that too. Yep.
Then it's really hard to get, because around here, it is like serious. It's serious federal government shit. Like, it's all people. They're on a track.
Yeah.
And I'm just trying to get some scratch so I can go on tour.
Yeah. Some scratch. Well, it's funny you say it, because my wife lost her job a couple months ago, and she's going through the same thing, and it's been 9 years, and tomorrow she has her first job interview that she's ever had in 10 years, so that's kind of exciting. But she's on all those like LinkedIn's and Career Builder and all those different things, and just so many things have changed, and she's 55 and she's a woman in Los Angeles, so you're just saying, like, it's interesting you say that, because you talked about that. Yeah.
I mean, even somebody was telling me, you gotta get on LinkedIn, you just gotta. And I looked at it, I'm like, motherfucker, this is just Facebook.
That's what she said. It's same. It's like a hustle.
Why do I have to be here?
Yeah.
And everything's all about what industry are you in? I'm not in any industry. I'm just looking for a job.
Yeah. That's what Moon said too. It's a whole other. It's like another social media thing. It's like crazy.
Yes.
It's a whole community on there.
And it's all about make connections, because that's where your next job is going to come from.
Mm-hmm.
But my network is not on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them are, but it's not. You know what I mean? It's just my network is like at a show.
100%
or something.
That's true.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is, it's hard to live in a place that is really expensive and, not be making enough money to live here.
Mm-hmm. You've been here for a while too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've been here my whole life.
No, I'm saying there, like in Virginia.
Oh yeah. I moved to Arlington the first time in 1992.
Damn. It's fucking crazy.
So
crazy.
Yeah.
What
I was 93, something like that.
Are you coffee or tea person?
Both.
Oh, okay.
I'm mostly coffee, but
how many coffees a day?
I try to keep it to 2 cups.
Okay.
But I really prefer 3 or 4.
What's the latest you have a coffee during the day?
Oh, anytime. I'll drink it right before I go to bed.
No way. It doesn't affect you?
Nah.
That's crazy. Black coffee only?
No. I put a little oat milk in it.
Yeah. So morning, midday, afternoon, whatever.
I could drink coffee all day long.
Doesn't phase you. That's crazy. I have a lot of friends like that too. It doesn't phase them. So it's
mostly I don't, because I like very expensive coffee.
Ooh, bougie.
So
let me find out Amanda's bougie coffee. Yeah.
So, because I try to get the shit that's not packaged. So get loose bean. That's all this other shit. But so I try to be economical with it.
That's smart. That's your main.
I try to have it last for as long as possible.
So it's not the caffeine. It's that you love the taste. You love drinking it.
Oh, I love the taste.
Damn, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And then regular tea.
The only time I didn't drink a cup of coffee on Monday, because when we went to go look at the eclipse.
Yeah.
I had to stop at Starbucks.
Ooh.
To get a coffee. And that shit was just terrible.
You don't fuck with. There's no way you fuck with Starbucks.
It was just terrible.
You had to do that day.
So I just was like, fuck it. I'm not drinking any coffee today.
There's no way your ass is going into a fucking Starbucks anywhere else, but on the road you had to do that. So
Yep.
I cannot see you in there.
And the thing was that was the most interesting about that was they had just opened. Like, we got to the rest area before they. So
it should have been fresh.
Should have been fresh, exactly. And that shit tasted like an old shoe.
You ever drink coffee on the airplanes?
I do.
Okay, don't do it no more. I just heard something totally disgusting, that the coffee and the tea and the containers that they use is not cleaned. It's the worst thing you should ever do. Is for the listeners, I just read about this thing. Coffee and tea, whatever they use to clean it, they don't clean it. Where the water comes from is not cool. I don't want to say. Don't quote me on it.
No,
you should Google
somebody
it.
told me No, somebody just told me also you shouldn't use the coffee makers in hotel rooms because people use it to wash their clothes in it.
100%. I believe
And
that.
I was like, that is fucking bullshit.
I believe it, dude. It's a look, it's a crazy world.
The coffee pot is it's like for one cup. How could you wash even a sock in it?
People do everything, man. Whatever they need to do, they do it. But
I'm
telling you right now. Okay, but listen, you need to look it up off the podcast about the coffee on airplanes and the tea.
My friend is a commercial airline pilot. I'm gonna
find out. I heard that's the only thing that's the most unsanitary thing on airplanes.
When I get the truth and I have to go Mythbusters on you, we have to do another podcast.
We do.
To explain that Toby fell for some clickbait on the internet.
No, it wasn't. It came from a person in person in my sauna the other day who works for an airline. No, they work for an airline. I swear. I'm not saying no names. It wasn't. Yeah, it was in my sauna. It was a hot box talk. And when this came up, do not do this.
That's bullshit.
Is that your only daily ritual? Is coffee? What's your rituals?
I got a lot because I have a zoo in my house.
Do you meditate? Do you meditate and shit like that or no?
I do, but I don't think I do it in a different way than a lot of people. I mean, I meditate all day long.
You have to tell you secrets. That's fine.
Like I don't like stop and light a candle and sit down.
I do like how you know the word clickbait. That makes me really proud of you. So rituals. You taking walk. What's your mornings like? How many animals do you have?
I have 2 dogs, a cat, a lizard, and 2 birds.
Amazing.
And that's just the ones who live in our house. Outside I have squirrels, raccoons, birds, a fox who likes to come eat some food sometimes.
That is cool.
And deer who like to come and eat food. Even though they say don't feed the wildlife, I definitely do.
Yeah.
Even when we had a rat, and my husband's like, we cannot feed the rat. Like, we're feeding the rat whether we like it or not.
That is amazing.
We have a compost pile, so.
That is cool. That's awesome. So you're out there feeding the animals. You're like, drink your coffee.
Yeah, I get up early. We get up pretty early in this house.
How early? 5, 6?
Yeah, usually 6-ish.
You go to bed early?
I get up. Sometimes I like to stay up late.
Are you a good sleeper?
I think so. I don't sleep the amount of sleep that I like to have makes most people uncomfortable.
5 hours, 4 or 5 hours?
Yeah.
Wow.
I prefer that.
That's freaking crazy.
And everybody says, that's impossible. You can't, you're underslept. I'm like, I'm underslept? Like, what is that?
That's why you have all the coffee though. Possibly.
No, I just drink it. I mean, when I wake up in the morning, I just wake up and I just get up and go, I'm just awake.
Me too. My wife hates it. I'm like such a morning. I'm same.
Other people are like, oh my God, it takes me so long to get out of bed. Like, what the fuck? You're wasting time.
Because my mind is fucking going to. I hop up. I'm fucking ready. Same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah. So we get up early. We do have we don't really eat much in the morning, but we do have what we call breakfast together. So we'll have he drinks tea and I drink coffee, but we'll have just tea and toast.
Nice.
And just sit in the kitchen and get through, just get things settled, and then got to feed everybody, and then somebody goes somewhere to do some work, and everything else is whatever unfolds that day. I mean, I have plans, but man plans and God laughs.
Ooh, I love that. Are you a pretty social person? You out seeing people during the week and stuff?
I don't typically see people unless we have some sort of appointment together.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes me sad a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that I work with a lot of people I like.
That's cool.
Like when I do projects, it's usually with people I like.
Yeah.
But I talk to people a lot every day because
same.
We got a lot of people.
I love talking to people. I love conversations. I love talking to people.
I mean, I talk to everybody I interact with.
Like,
I'll talk to anybody. They don't always talk back.
Are you an optimist or pessimist?
I think I'd probably be an optimist.
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, everything's going to work out beautifully.
You've always been like that?
And if it doesn't, then it's just information, and we're gonna like adjust and move on.
You've always been like that?
Probably not. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I mean, honestly,
I don't see you as like a dark like person that goes through depression, or like a person that's like, fuck the world. I don't know you as that like that. Yeah.
I mean, I have to say, like, on any given moment of any day, when I think about like, I just think about like, what are people seeing if they're seeing me right now? The only image I see of myself is like when I was 9 and I was like on my bike, or when I was 9 and like climbing on a jungle gym. And it's all that's my perpetual is like that viewpoint of life, like where it's a day is forever.
Yeah.
And you know, it's you're going to explore and you're going to create and you're going to you're just going to enjoy all the time.
Yeah.
And you think about being like 8 and 9, like you just every day was like magic because you made shit up all day.
100%.
Like, oh no, you know, you make up a fucking game, like you play
imagination,
some fucking
everything
game with your friends for like a day, and the whole game was mostly about making the rules of the game. But whatever,
it's
you know,
so true.
It was all just about dreaming shit up with people, and
it's your imagination.
That I love. I wish that was something that you could that would be respected on a resume. Like, what's your number one skill? Dreaming shit up with people. I'm really good at that.
Yeah. That is so freaking funny. I love that.
I mean, at least at this point, I can dream the shit up with people, and then we can actually figure out how to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know, that's the difference. But
no, for sure.
The workforce is not ready for punk rock, I'm afraid.
It really never was, though, right? I guess.
Nah. Nah, it really wasn't. There should be like a punk rock like job board.
That'd be sick.
It would have to be super exclusive. Like you'd have to pass like a survey of like knowledge of punk rock in order to get in.
That'd be pretty
I know
cool.
that doesn't sound very punk at all. Like,
you
wouldn't let people in. But
yeah, you have to know these. Yeah, some of the blueprint to it. That's so freaking funny. So Bedmaker, new records coming out in May.
Yes,
Discord.
In May. Yep. Pretty excited about it.
Is there a date yet or no?
I think it's going to be May 24th.
Okay, perfect. This will be out before that.
But I'm not totally sure. But I think that's that's sort of what they were landing on. But it's pretty exciting. I don't think, probably somebody who hears this will correct me. I'm pretty sure this is the first time I've had a record come out in a band that I'm actually still playing in.
Wow.
So that's pretty exciting.
That's cool. Yeah, that's crazy.
Even though we recorded the record so long ago, life got in the way in a major way. But it's here, and I'm super excited about it. It was great. Jason Farrell did all the artwork, and
so cool.
I love him, so it was great to work with him. And we recorded at Don's Inner Ear, but
wow.
Now it's the original. We're back to the original Inner Ear because he's back recording in his house, and
that's cool.
It's just super fun. I mean, it was very 1987.
It's awesome. Yeah, I love the songs that I heard, and I saw the footage you guys playing. It was awesome. It's just cool to see you up there, and
well, you can tell from our Bandcamp that I don't social media very much because those songs have been up there for like 2 years or something. I've added nothing. Nothing's changed.
I was trying to find your music on Apple. I couldn't find it.
It won't be there until the record comes out.
Okay, yeah, I couldn't find it there
because,
either. Yeah.
Like
I also love that I couldn't find it there too for some reason. And you were in Bandcamp. Well, it makes so much sense.
I mean, we talked about, putting stuff on Spotify and Apple Music and just sort of going through that avenue, but then it's already like with putting the record out on Discord, that's all going to happen.
Yeah.
And so it would just get complicated at a certain point. So, and I'm happy to have someone else navigate it.
Yeah, for sure.
It took me so long to, deal with Bandcamp. I mean, I did all that on my own, which is just ridiculous to think about.
Yeah.
Somebody who can do so many things and is just daunted by how the fuck do you fucking put the artwork on it or whatever? Like, how do you make it?
Yeah.
How do you make it be this? Like, I see, everyone's advice is always like, well, just look at a few of the Bandcamp pages that you really like.
And it's
okay,
like,
I look at them, but how do you do that?
yeah. And that's even more, yeah. Yeah, that's a whole different world than online stuff and all the digital stuff. It's just crazy.
Of course, now Bandcamp is a totally different thing. We got our bass player Arthur. He usually is the person that checks the email, and so he sent a screenshot of somebody. I want to say like they all of our songs are, if you want to pay for it, thank you.
Yeah,
do whatever you want,
totally.
or don't pay for it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because we just want people to listen to it. But so someone gave us like $1 or something for a song, but we got our statement from Bandcamp, and it was like, after all the fees or something, we got like 37 cents or something.
Nice.
And I was like, you paid somebody how long? Like, you paid somebody how much money to have this job of creating these statements that are for like 37 cents? Like,
it's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Thank you, but whatever. Just don't send the statement. Like, we don't care.
How many songs are on the record?
Oh my God. 11?
Oh, awesome. Perfect. That's perfect. Yeah. Classic.
Yeah.
You think you play Los Angeles? Let's play some shows when it
I
comes
hope
out.
so. We really want to do like 4 or 5 days on the West Coast.
Yes.
So,
this year?
I hope, but
that'd be sick.
We got 2 people in our band have like for real jobs.
Okay.
So it's
sellouts. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
No, that's good. It's actually our show. We played on Saturday night in New Jersey.
I saw that.
Because our drummer had a colleague who like in the same industry, and he met somewhere, and she set up a show for us in New Jersey.
Oh, that's cool.
So,
how was the show?
It was good. It was really kind of peculiar.
Where'd you play?
I like
Where'd you play at? What was the venue?
In Highland Park, New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, I heard of that. Yeah.
Borough of New Brunswick.
That's cool.
And it's this place called Pino's, which I figured, well, it's probably like a wine place. I figured I didn't know what the hell to expect, but just before we left, Arthur was like, I looked it up online. It's like a wine shop and gift basket shop.
Wow, that's so random and amazing.
We get there, and it's this big room that is divided down the middle, and on one side is gift baskets and beer and wine, like, selling stuff. And then on the other side, there's a bar and a stage and a little pizza place. And by little, it's for real little. Like, it's just one little brick oven. And then they have an arcade. And it's a really cool spot. And everyone's really, really nice. And the pizza is really fucking good.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
So it's a nice show. I mean, it was over by 10 o'clock or something.
Perfect. Would there ever think be a Evans Hammered Halls Bedmaker show? That'd be kind of sick.
Probably not. I mean,
everybody's schedules and all that shit. Yeah.
Hammered Halls Bedmaker and Ian DJing, that happened.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool.
A benefit for Kent Stacks. That's great.
Awesome.
Put together. So, I mean, it's not. We've all been in the same room for the same reasons.
Yeah.
At one time.
And did your parents ever get to come out and see any of your bands?
Oh, absolutely. My mom never saw Bedmaker, but she came to see Routiners.
Awesome.
And my dad would always try to come to a Bedmaker show whenever he could. I mean, my niece is in a band, and he went to her show, whatever, like 3 weeks before he died. So
wow,
it was pretty incredible. Like,
wow.
it was really tried hard to to be at all of the things.
Yeah. That's amazing. And your dad probably saw Minor Threat back then, or no?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
The only reason I got to see Minor Threat the first time was because my parents took me.
That's so sick. That's so freaking crazy, man. Your parents went to that and brought. It's so cool.
Well, you got to.
Were they tripped out?
Right?
I wonder if they tripped out on the music back then. Probably. Who knows?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's
I
cool.
don't know. I mean,
yeah.
They didn't seem to. It wasn't
like
they ever said stop.
That's true. Yeah. True.
Not that like that would have done anything.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, fucking man, this has been awesome. I knew this was gonna be better than the first one, dude. This is so fucking awesome. 2 hours is so good. I feel like I could talk to you forever, but I know you have a life and stuff going on. But yeah, we should do a part 2, and you text me after this and tell me I was wrong about airplane coffee and tea. But I swear on everything, it came from a source that wasn't the internet. It was in my sauna. But
you were high on sauna.
That's true. No.
You're all fucking lightheaded from sweating.
That's so true.
You hadn't even got to the ice bath yet.
I haven't yet. I gotta fucking do that today. It's really hot out here today. How's the weather out there? Good?
It's beautiful.
Sick.
Spring
is in the air.
Yeah.
Well, I love and appreciate you in my life. I'm so glad that we're friends
too,
for this many years, and proud to call you my friend, and so happy that we're connected again, and appreciate you being patient with this podcast. I did 2 years ago and lost it. Now you know that.
I can't believe you didn't want to tell me that.
No, it's embarrassing. It's fucking. I'm a professional podcaster. It's embarrassing. But it happened to 3 people. I know. Yeah, I got to tell that girl. I know.
It has no bearing on you being a podcaster.
No,
or
I
a
know.
Professional podcaster. It has everything to do with technology.
I know.
And
but this
technology will fuck you up.
But this is I feel like this is better anyway. Just me and you is really nice to talk, because it's just like we're talking like I'm on a walk right now, but I'm not. We always have these awesome long talks that I really appreciate and look forward to. And I don't really talk to that many people for that long on the phone either, except when we're talking. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's cool. And now we just recorded our phone call, and the whole world's gonna hear it now. But yeah, appreciate.
I hope they enjoy it.
Yeah, this is so sick. This is awesome. This is fucking. Just talking to you. Obviously, I know a lot of the stuff about you, but when you start looking up things about your friends, you're like, oh shit, that some things you just don't know, and
some things I don't know.
Yeah,
that's
me
the best
too.
part of the internet.
Me too. And some things aren't true. You know, some things are just made up.
People tell me shit that they read online. I'm like, really?
I know. The same. That shit. So you hear something crazy like, what? That never even happened. People even up, yo, this happened at a show, or all this stuff. I'm like, yo, that wasn't me, man. Like a lot of my friends looked alike. Maybe looked alike. I don't fucking know what you're talking about, or just weird stories or stuff that they'll mistake me for my brother sometime. I'm like, dude, It's like internet's crazy, bro. It's a crazy world, man. But
I will never argue about it, because what a waste of time.
100%. You never, and also you never win argument on the internet. And also, Bedmaker DC is Instagram where people can check out the dates, the record. Yep. All that stuff. Amanda won't be checking her DMs, so don't bother her on there. Leave her messages.
No, you can find me on Facebook.
Oh yeah,
I will. I'll respond.
I like how I would not. I don't want you to say it. I still don't know what your regular Instagram is, dude. It's awesome. Oh. I think it's. We're not going to say it on here. I think I know the name. I think I follow. I don't know, but I like it. It's just like You're on there.
I follow you.
Yeah, I know you're checking out the scene. You know what's going on in the world.
Yeah. I may yet, embrace Instagram more, although it's kind of fucked up.
And just have your real name on there, or follow just your page on there. Would you do it?
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Because I don't know why I'm not.
I think people would be stoked. I don't know.
It is like, my dear friend Mike Schleibaum.
Yes. Yes.
He and I talked at some point, because he was helping me with making the Facebook page, and we just got to talking about like the time that it takes to deal with social media.
Yes.
And it takes a long time.
It does.
And I have to think
hustle,
about
man.
it a lot, because it's like I could spend 4 hours doing that shit, or I could go on 2 walks with people I
Do
love.
some gardening, all that. Feed some animals.
Yeah,
All
just
yeah,
like
yeah.
I could cook some food,
Yeah.
you know,
You
or
drink
I could
6
stare at the
coffees.
screen.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, but it is, I was thinking about this morning actually. Like, I think uh, punk people, however, whatever music you love, you're a punk person. Um, Resistance becomes important to your way of life. Like, you have to resist society.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about this specifically about my computer because there's a lot about it that I deliberately resist as technology changes and things advance, and I resist
Gotcha.
because I like the way I'm doing things.
Yeah. You
But
don't need it
except that
or want to need it.
Except that when your shit starts not working the way it used to,
Yeah.
because it's not supported anymore or whatever, then resistance actually it is harming you because it takes you longer to do what you need to do.
Yes.
And then you build up frustration, and then you have to change your plans or whatever because shit won't work the way you need it to right then.
Yeah, it's really true. They got you like that too. Like, oh, it's time for an upgrade. All the new OS system and all that stuff. It's just like
exactly, because that's the thing. Like, we got to get a new device because now it's not working as well because it can't get the newest platform.
It's out of date. It's like not compatible. It's not. Yeah, all that stuff. It's crazy how
and
they have us.
It sucks, but I just
it does.
I was like, guys, you have to give up. I think. Or not give up.
But it's not giving up, and it's not giving in. It's not selling out. It's not. It's just like you need it.
Yes, I have to be willing to admit that I need this in order to advance through my day.
Yes.
And
work, get things done, like everything.
Right, but it is. I keep thinking it's a scam, but I don't think it's a scam.
Everything's a scam.
I don't think it's about the coffee pot thing. I think it's for real.
But everything's a scam. It is a scam, like the upgrades, and you need an iPhone 20,000 and all this stuff. And like they change the plugs, they change the outlets on the new iPhone, and they change all that stuff every time. And just
but cars are the same way.
Same. That's right. You have a car. That's right. That's true. You need your car to get around. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sure. Already our car, when we got it, they're like, well, you can't use it. The car's computer is too old to work with our phones.
Yeah. Oh shit. Yeah.
And like, well, that's stupid.
It's not compatible. Yeah. It's true.
But then it's also like, well, that's all right. Let's listen to the radio.
It's true. Yeah, but I know what you're saying though. But the phones help us work. They help us promote things we're doing.
That's the kicker, is if you are living a life where you are you're creating, which you end up all day long having to do pieces of your creation.
Yeah.
And you have to get it to people.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that we get things to people is like digital.
Yeah.
And so you're only kicking yourself in the ass.
100%. I feel like not many people
tripping yourself if
you
don't get your shit up to date.
I feel like a lot of people aren't even emailing anymore. It's crazy. It's like email is almost like a dying thing too. It's like it's interesting.
Don't
with
tell
that
my
stuff.
Computer that I get so much fucking email.
Me too.
I get so
spam,
much email.
all that shit. That's like, I know, man. It's
crazy.
Just, I know it's crazy. It's like changing with the times, not wanting to do that, want to be against society and not fit in. I get all that shit, but at the same time, it's like how you're still. I'm gonna say you're still the punk, or you're still the same person. You're just using some newer tools to, I don't know, even like to promote your message or promote what you're talking about, or, what you have coming up, or what you're doing. That's, I don't know. I know what you're saying, though. It's.
I mean, a lot of
necessary evil.
A lot of staying quiet on social media was about like, well, I'm not interested in making myself vulnerable at this point.
Yeah, I respect that 100%.
But sometimes you have to to me at least, you have to think about what it is to be vulnerable, and to put your name on a social media thing and allow for people to look at it and comment or whatever. Is that really making yourself vulnerable? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. No, but
because it's just it's an information tool.
It is. We just have to be prepared for, like we talked earlier about, people saying dumb shit or people thinking they really know you because of just all that stuff that people. There's like what's the word I used to P word I said it's what people think it's not what's the word I use people think smoke and mirrors. There's a lot of things on there. That's not how you're going to be. What's the word what's the word I used earlier, the P word?
I don't know.
Not presentation. It's what people think. It's what they think they know of you by just what you post. They think they really know you. I forgot the fucking word. Anyway, I said it early in this conversation, but you know what I mean. You put it depends on where you post. If you're just posting like stuff about your band or stuff, posting pictures of your plants, shit like that, it's like
right. I mean, and that's like just the thing about all the shit about platforms is like, I can't, like, as we said, LinkedIn is social media.
Yeah.
I can't. I don't know how to interact with that form of social media because it's more fake than anything else in a way, because the purpose that people are there is to get something from someone else.
Yeah.
And you can feel it.
Totally.
And so Instagram, I like Instagram a lot actually because it was not word dependent.
Perception.
Yeah.
Perception.
Yeah.
Okay,
Perception. But I also, it's pretty fun. Like, it's not fun. I do get a kick when I'm on Facebook. I get a kick of when I hear from somebody. Like, do you remember that guy, Nailhead Andy, from way back in the day? He hung out in Georgetown. He had like big Liberty spikes.
I do.
He did all the
Andy. Yes.
He did all the T-shirts.
Yes.
So I connected with him on Facebook because I found DJ Mohawk Adam on there and became friends with him again, became friends with him on Facebook, and Andy popped up, and I was like, "Be friends with me on Facebook." And so he doesn't do shirts anymore, but he sent me. I'll send you the picture. I'll take a screenshot. He does stained glass work now.
Oh, that's cool.
And he did a fucking stained glass of the cover, the Minor Threat record that's everyone thought was Ian, but it's actually Alec.
Yep.
He did a stained glass of that, and it's beautiful.
That's sick.
And that's the kind of shit, like, this is kind of cool. Like, I've known this guy for my whole life practically, and I don't know where he's living now. We haven't even actually talked about anything, but
that's really cool.
It's nice in that way where it's like
connecting with people.
Up with people.
Yeah, you lost touch with. Yeah.
And
that's cool.
And it's more digestible for me because, like, on Instagram, it's a little bit. It's kind of shifting. It used to be about sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone was just sharing things that they thought were interesting or looked nice or whatever.
100%.
It's shifted now, especially if you're in a band, because I can't tell you how many Instagram messages we get that are about some band who's looking for a local band to play with them.
Oh, wow.
And it's kind of weird. I'm still working on what that is all about. But Facebook is also the same thing as, people are not, I don't feel at least that people are particularly looking to get something there.
No.
Like, I feel like on Facebook, people are still just chatting.
Well, it's political, and they do a lot of politics too as well. I heard. What I heard. Yeah.
I stay away from politics. So
same. Me too.
Because it just makes me sad.
Agreed.
Because people get angry and they stop talking. They just start yelling.
Yeah,
Nobody can hear each other.
So true. It's crazy. I'm not on Facebook, but my band's on there, and Todd Friend runs the page on there. So like.
Man, I've never even looked at the H2O page. How is that possible?
So he just posts like just shows and stuff. That's all he posts. But yeah, that's just run by him. But yeah, I'm not on there at all. It's a whole different world for me. But yeah, well, amazing, Amanda. I'm going to send you this documentary
Thank you,
check.
Toby.
I'm going to send you a link for this documentary called Christspiracy that just, my friend has put it out. He did Seaspiracy, he did What the Health, and he did Cowspiracy. And it's called Christspiracy. It's really, I don't want to get into it on here. It's incredible. I'm going to send you a link to it. It's crazy, man. It's
I'm
crazy.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Do you watch a lot of documentaries?
I do. We mostly watch documentaries, but we also like to look at a lot of concert films.
Really? Okay.
That's the best.
Like, what do you mean? Like just regular concerts, just regular people?
Yeah.
Like YouTube
yeah,
YouTube or documentaries? Just regular documentaries?
Well, they're not even documentaries. Like it's like Woodstock. It's not a documentary. It's just a concert film. This it's there's just shit like that. I mean,
so did you watch the
I like
Taylor Swift concert film?
I didn't.
Okay. I heard it's awesome. I haven't seen. I heard it's awesome.
It's a little too new for me.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Like, what are you watching? Like old school shit?
We mostly go backwards.
Okay.
But I will say I watched the Rush documentary.
It's great. I watched it too. It's great.
And
great.
At the end of it, I was like, I have to rethink my entire feeling about the band Rush.
My son plays Rush in the garage. He loves Rush. He turned me on to them. They're awesome. You know what's a great doc is Journey when they get the new singer. The Journey doc.
Oh yeah, I watched that one. We saw that one in the theater.
That is so sick. That's sick.
Oh, and there's one that was the Creedence Clearwater Man.
That's good. God. All right, I'm gonna check it out.
It's so good.
Wow. Okay.
Oh my God, especially when you see the setup their stage. It's so fucking insane. Like it's so good.
Yeah, the Woodstock docs are crazy. Woodstock 94 and those other ones are bananas. You seen those ones?
I haven't watched the
what? The ones that shit went crazy and caught on fire and all that.
No, I didn't watch that one.
Oh my God, I'm gonna send you off the pod.
Because I heard about it while it was happening.
I know, but the footage is crazy, man.
It's just so ridiculous.
I know. So you're watching the old school docs. I wish there was a doc about Heart. I've been listening to Heart lately again. Heart is incredible.
That Cheap Trick show I went to, they played. It was Jet, Cheap Trick, and Heart.
Did you see Heart perform?
Yeah, it's fucking incredible.
So many bangers, so many great. They have so many amazing songs. I know. I never owned any of their records, but I know all their songs. Incredible, man.
Yep.
What about?
And when you,
oh my God.
And when you look at like the old footage, and you realize like, wait a minute, this is like totally outrageous for the time.
Yeah.
That these women had this fucking rockin' band.
Yeah.
It's totally outrageous for the time.
They need a documentary. I deep dived them after I started listening to them, and I watched them get in the Hall of Fame. It was beautiful speeches. It was like they had a whole like montage of all their stuff and just like their sisters. It's super cool.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a whole podcast about our love for
we have to just
music
get a radio show together.
We should. That'd be sick.
And we'd have to try to play some music though, even though we'd talk to each other a lot.
Here's one more fun fact because I know this was I guess you ever like Ted Nugent?
Well, yes, but I was very young.
Well,
and now I have one of his records and I listened to it a few years ago and I was like, this is really inappropriate music.
Oh yeah, it's crazy some of the lyrics, but he's such a hardcore hunter, trumper, does everything. We just found out that his son is vegan. He's totally opposite, and he changed his whole name, and that's a fact. I got connected to him in a text. It was very surreal.
Damn.
Yep. I'm gonna keep it on the podcast, Joe. Joe, if you hear this part, maybe cut this part out of the podcast, Joe. Talking to Joe, my producer, because I don't want to blow up the kid's spot. But I'm telling you because we're just having a conversation that the world's not hearing right now. But yeah, that was pretty cool to come to find out that out. It's pretty cool. That's pretty fucking punk to me. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, definitely if you go the opposite of your family, that
yeah, totally.
It's pretty wild.
I know, it's pretty wild. All right, Amanda. Much
right,
love to you. We did it. We fucking did it. I love you too. I'm so
psyched.
This is going to be out and people can hear this, and then we'll do a part 2.
Yep.
We'll just talk about all kinds of music and weird shit. We have our own radio show and life's great. We talk about planting. We talk about planting and next all like different vegetables.
We'll do a garden show next.
Sick. All right, my friend. Have a great day.
You too.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I always ask my guests if they have any regrets. I personally don't have any regrets. Even when it comes to my tattoos, I have the silliest tattoos. Even my ET on my leg, it's still a childhood memory for me, and I love it. I've had tattoos on top of tattoos strictly because I wanted more tattoos. I started getting tattoos when I was 18. I'm 52 now, and I can't stop. I've had laser treatment before on something on my arm. It's 4 tattoos on top of each other. And that experience at that place was pretty fast. It was pretty cold. It was in and out, swipe the credit card. Don't really tell me much, didn't give me much details or anything was going to happen. So I never went back. So as of most recently, I'm so lucky enough to have had 2 sessions at Removery Tattoo Removal. My tattoo on my arm that looks like a big black blob is now super light. I've had 2 sessions. I have a long road ahead of me. None of this stuff happens overnight. You cannot take a tattoo up in one sitting. You have to be patient. And it's painful. They ice you up. It's super fast. To me, it felt like a bunch of rubber bands. But what's more painful than that is looking at something on your body that you think you're stuck with for the rest of your life. That sucks. But now for me, I'm really happy I started this journey. I'm slowly going to get this tattoo removed. I never thought in a million years I have any kind of real estate on my arm. I don't even know what I want, but it's exciting. I'm so honored to announce that One Life One Chance podcast is now with Removery. I have a code. Use TobyH20 and get $100 off your first session. Call 866-934-4570 or go to Removery.com. One of the most experienced tattoo removal companies in the world. Over 600,000 removal treatments done. 100 locations. US, Canada, and Australia. State-of-the-art Pico-Way laser technology. Cryotechnology to reduce any discomfort. This is so exciting for me because all I do in these podcasts is talk about tattoos. From day one, if you've been listening to this podcast, we talk about tattoos, talk about getting removed, talk about getting covered up. So this is such a perfect fit for me. Once again, go to Removery.com or call 866-934-4570. Use my code TobyH20 and get $100 off. These guys are located everywhere. Try it out.